Good morning. I think you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Good morning. Stephanie left a note saying that she's going to be over at TV2 live watching the house. The house is going to start. I think this was from yesterday because we ended and then the house went into session and voted for war powers. More power to the pedo. More power to the pedo. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday. Oh my God. Is it really Friday? I missed Thursday. It's really Friday. Happy Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. What a world, Meowing Star. What a fucking world. It is picking us up, slapping us in the face, dropping us, picking us up again, slapping us in the face. Golly molly. Hi, Neil. I'm good, thanks. How are you? How was your night? Yeah, I'm good. I got a little done yesterday. I need to take some time away from the show, I think, just to get some stuff done around the house. I'm very bad at like if I do this in the morning, I'm pretty much useless the rest of the day. And this is my own like boundary or not boundaries. What is that? Barriers? I'm not sure what that's called. I just get so tired. I know, Neil, you need sleep. I get so tired in the day, I have to rest. And so I'm so useless. So it's almost like I need to take days away from, I either need to choose streaming or adulting. And inevitably, I choose streaming and not adulting because adulting is hard. I tried to at the end of last year, if you remember, I got like, I don't know, it was like 5 medical referrals of things that were way overdue for me to take care of. I literally got none of them done. I completed, wait, did I complete any of them? Well, kind of. The cardiologist, I probably pretty much completed, you know. Of course. Yeah, no, all of us need to take care of ourselves. I have certain limitations now that I didn't have like 6 years ago. You know, like in 2019, I didn't have the same limitations that I have had the last 6 years. So it's definitely, but I'm at the point where I probably need to really take care of some things. And I just, I don't know, I get very overwhelmed. Um, take a day off in between streams. Yeah, I could try to do that. I mean, I think it's just a matter of a few days of like, because I need my surroundings to be a little bit more organized. And that takes like, for me, that takes like a lot of a lot of time basically to make happen. So yeah, I might do that. I might just take a couple days off next week maybe and really try to hammer out some shit and get it done. And then I can come back fresh. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I did some stuff yesterday. That was my intention yesterday, was to get some things done that were really like screaming in my face. And I did actually get one thing done that was screaming in my face. So that's good. That's always good. But yeah, depression is very interesting. Like I felt like in my lifetime, I probably experienced depression. But I remember watching those commercials where the mom, for example, would be like super checked out and like, depression changes who you are, or whatever the commercial was. I can't remember. And I remember thinking, oh my God, that just feels terrible. That feels like you're trapped inside your mind and you can't convince people that you're like the same person you used to be. You know what I mean? I just remember having that feeling. And then lo and behold, I had a nervous breakdown in 2021, I think was when it really hit. And it just changed from there. Like it was building up. I had an attempted sexual assault in 2019. I had a lot of health related issues with my arthritis in 2019 and 2020. I left my job because I couldn't do it. My friend gave me a job that I did as long as I could, and then in 2021, I just fell apart. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't function. I had been fighting with CVS specialty pharmacy about getting my meds for my arthritis. I was in incredible pain, and I had this mental breakdown, like broken, like dangerous to me, not to anybody else. Hi, Grace Lisa. So since that time, I have now understood what that commercial meant because I feel very much like I'm not the same person in terms of resilience that I was before my sexual assault and before my kind of major depressive disorder, which is what I was diagnosed with. And I get really sad, really sad. And it doesn't take much for me to really get to that place. And I'm a very happy person. Like I'm a very, let's make it work kind of person. And I still do that. But I'm going to tell you, I feel different. I feel like depression changes who you are and changes your personality. And it's not fun. Because I used to be the strong one, right? I used to be the one that I was a single mom. I fucking made it happen. I fucking hustled my bustle. I mean, fucking hell. I worked so goddamn hard. And so I really don't recognize sometimes the person who I am now. Now, in other ways, I love the person I am now because she is much more herself. Like when I was working, I was always, for the most part, I was in a management position. So I had to be a certain way, right? I couldn't be as political as I am now. I could be a little political because I still can't help it, right? Like I can't change who I am to be in a job, but I can moderate the public image that I'm putting out because people like parents at a school, you know, they look at who you are publicly, and that is important. So I was always very careful and not a lot of, you know, outwardly, you know, like you see now, but still passionate about rights and change, and did what I could do and worked really around youth development and obviously international girls schooling, etc., stuff like that. So I can't remember where I was going with this. It was a girls school. Anyway, the point is that depression sucks. And depression rips away, yeah, so much. It's so much. And it's totally debilitating. Like I've never slept so much in my entire life. I was on the waiting list for therapy for months, and then I missed my one chance to make an appointment. It wasn't the appointment itself. I had a chance to make the appointment, and I missed that window, and then you have to start over again. So now I'm still waiting to get an appointment with my doctor, to get a referral, to then be put on the waiting list for therapy. Now, could I go out and get my own therapy? Maybe. I don't know if I can afford it. I don't have an income that is, whatever. But I could probably find something. But all to say, I think it is really important that we take care of ourselves. And I don't know how to do that all the time. So this is what you see. But also this is what you see. Like, this is who I've been the whole time. You've seen me through my worst. You've definitely seen me through my worst, through my best, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, but depression is no joke. Depression is like very debilitating, and it really changes and rocks your confidence in who you are, right? And and add to that the last few years where I was really strongly betrayed by some very close friends a couple of years ago, and that rocked me. That really rocked me. That added to the depression, and I'm still struggling with my ghost feelings of what it felt like to be betrayed, and that I have reminders of that betrayal everywhere. So my depression also takes things like that, where I've been traumatized by people and just like repeats it over and over again. So that's why when I hear about certain people, I get really triggered and really upset. It's because it reminds me of the incredibly hard time when people really walked away from me. Like this whole group of people that I was hanging out with in the convoy totally turned on me because two people betrayed me and said, and were part of the stalker group. And they had infiltrated that convoy watching group and they came after me. And we'll go to the story another time, but I'm just telling you, there were some events that really continue to hurt me. And it's mostly because my depression, but it still feels real. So that's all. And that hopefully that explains sometimes why when I express myself, like either on Blue Sky or in Discord, and I'm being really raw and emotional, I apologize, because that's a lot to put on people. And it's almost like that's my way to just get out that particular feeling. But I also realize that that's not always fair. So please, hopefully you get to know me well enough that you know that I do that. Not that it's not important, and that I would really love to have, I love the support that I get if people are able to be like, hey, I'm sorry that's happening. That is beautiful. It's not a small thing to me that when that happens, it's not just a small thing. I'm actually in pretty deep, distress, I guess, basically. Anyway, the depths of distress are much more enhanced when you're depressed. When you're depressed. I'm going to do a song like that. When you're depressed, you are really silly. Betrayal is as painful. I'm going to tell you, that really rocked my soul, because I'm not a betrayal person, right? I am a very trusting person. Too trusting. Absolutely too trusting. And I let people in, and I ignored the warnings from my real friends. And it was too late by the time I got publicly thrown to the side. And so that still to this day kind of hurts, And I didn't have a lot of people standing up for me, and nobody would really listen. I had to, for friends that did listen, I had to provide such exhaustive details so that they knew I wasn't the drama. I felt like I had to defend what my position was, which was really just the person who was betrayed. So there was a lot of pain associated with that time. Imagine having to justify the fact that you're the one that's being taken advantage of. Imagine that. Imagine if you will. So anyway, well, thank you for coming to my therapy session here at Lolo's Lounge. Wake and bake. Good morning, everyone. Sharon Brown, good morning. At the same time, we develop the superpower of resilience. God, I fucking hope so, Sharon, because it doesn't feel like it. I don't feel terribly resilient, but, I don't know. I'm going to keep trying. You know why? Because my daughter is the most important thing in my entire life, and the last thing I would ever want to do would be to cause her pain or suffering or sadness. So there's definitely, yeah. Good morning, Stephanie. How are you? It's good to see you. Teresa, good morning, my love. My love, meowing, giving me a big hug, and I'm giving you one right back, girl. Grace Lisa, depression makes my body feel heavy. Yes, it's like this inertia. The inertia is the craziest part. I want to do things, and I just physically almost can't. It's the weirdest thing. It's just the strangest thing. It's so debilitating. And then Neil was here this morning. Yeah. Well, it's really nice to see everyone, and happy Friday. We made it to Friday, and it was just the craziest time ever. So this morning I have a few things to read to you, and I have a few clips of things that I've curated for you. My therapist says it is because all of our energy is being used to keep our basic functions working. That really definitely feels like a lot. Well, yeah, add on to it all the external stress. And if you're not well equipped to handle external stress, like at a base minimum, which I'm below the base minimum. Oh, Jim, did you have a bad week on the stock market? I'm sorry, Jim. Well, you married a princess. Maybe she has some extra money laying around. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I find it hard to feel sorry for people who would lose money in the stock market. That's just my own problem. Okay. Yeah, they sure did. Wait, what's the markets? Hold on. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. It's bounced back a little bit, Jim. It's only the Dow's down 660. Come on. Pull your pants up. And everything's rising on the Nikkei and on the Shanghai and the Hong Kong index. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Dead cat bounce. That's going to be fine. Oh my God, you mean this market was overinflated in value? What? You mean this market was overinflated in value? What? What? Oh, shocker. Shocker. Oh my God. Noam is being reassigned. Yeah, well, did we really think that they were going to fire her? No. Okay, they're not going to get rid. They're not going to shit can her. Absolutely. They're going to hold her close. So they're going to put her in some weird function so that she can get her yayas out blowing up drug boats. Okay, that's literally what they've done, is move her over to killing people in cartels or whatever, or fishermen, really. I'd write a stiff letter to Pam Bondi. She jinxed it. Oh. Yeah, I think, well, and if you want, I think the fun idea, okay, we need to make this a game, okay? We need to make this a game. We need to make it a game. We need to say that the next person to go, all right? I think, I'm going to tell you who I think it is. In fact, I'm going to read you a story about her because I know who's next. Okay, yep, that's right. Lolo knows who's next. So, yeah, get ready. Get ready to rumble. Wait, where is she? I don't know where it is. Shit. Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh, whoa. Do I not get the fucking... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Ooh. Hold on just a moment. I'm going to... much against my chagrin... I'm going to, whoops. Okay. Don't say I never do anything for you guys, because I'm gonna fucking subscribe to the goddamn Daily Beast after many years of not subscribing. What? Oh, weird. Okay. Let's see. Let me find my story now. Where is it? Where'd my story go? Where, Luigi? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, I know who's next. Sorry. Let me check in. My hubby took all of his money out of the stock market when Dinky was reelected and has never looked back. Wow. That's, you know what? And the thing about it is, Stephanie, is I think that, people know what's right for their portfolio. And I think this market is overinflated. I am not a stock analyst. I don't know what I'm talking about. I was a stockbroker for many years, but way back when. And that's not an analyst. A stockbroker is not an analyst. So Krusty is in charge of the Shield of the Americas. Yeah, she's going to be able to pull the trigger. She's very excited about this opportunity. Because they already showed that they are tried and true at committing crimes for him. Exactly. We're reading the book Strongmen in a book group. Oh, Ruth Ben Ghiat says it's common for strongmen to shuffle around the criminal underlings. Yeah, that makes sense. And it happens in corporations too, right? It happens in corporations. Yeah, you should ask. That's it. That's it, Neil. Uh, Jim, you should write a letter to Pam Bondi because she promised that the Dow was at $50,000. She promised. She promised. Okay, but you know who's next? I'll tell you who's next. Let me show you. Hold on. Let me show you. Let me show you who's next. Welcome to Nosferatu Lolo. Nosfera Lolo. Okay, wait, that's too big. Okay, well, maybe that's okay. All right, hold on. I got. Oh. This is too very large and no, baby. Okay, boop. All right, this is who's going next. Yes. Ooh. Oopie poopy poopy doop poop a doopy doop pop pop. She is gonna go next. Lori Chavez. She says, I'm the jobs one, not the farm one. That's how she introduces herself. Because she's the Secretary of Labor. Hi, Jay Rance. How are you, darling? How are you? Val, are you here, my love? Good morning. Please thumbs up if you haven't. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh, thank you. Oh, my God. I would, you know what? Here's what I would be. If I was Crispy Gnome, I would be so mad that they made me sit there and take that shit from fucking Kennedy and Tillis and Massey and all those guys. I think, okay, but I don't think it is Jim. No. Oh, no. Whiskey Pete, he's not going to go next. Cash, no. He's down the road, but he's not next. This bitch is next. This bitch. Okay? This bitch. And you don't know who she is? Lori Chavez something or other. And she is the director of, or Secretary of Labor. And guess what? The jobs report today. It fucks so many dogs, I don't even know. Sorry. That was too much, I guess. Was that too much? That was probably too much. Okay. Was that too much? So she's in real trouble. This cunt's in real trouble, but I need to read this. Do I know a guy named Kevin Williams? He's better known on social media as Kevin Lee Father. He used to do a YouTube like this, but started getting acting jobs after COVID had shut it down. Oh, no, I haven't heard of him. Good morning. Here's a good sit rep on Iran. Oh, perfect. Okay, okay, wait. I'm going to go to that next. Do we get her cosplay outfits back? Yeah, do we get the money back for all the shit she bought herself? She bought herself a Rolex, y'all. So does Crispy Gnome have to wear a superheroine costume now? I know. What is she going to be? Like an undercover drug agent? Is that what she's going to dress as? All right. Let me go ahead and do this. Hold on. I don't think I can make it. That's fine. Whoa, stop it. Stop it. Okay, Adam, can you just like chill for a minute, bud? God, TikTok, relax. Okay, here we go. Oh, what? What's happening? No sound? Oh no. You're not hearing it? No. Hold on. Oh, I think I fucked it up. Did I fuck it up? Oh, no. Okay, hold on. Shit. I'm going to try this. Oh. No? No. Okay. All right. Hold on. I had a feeling something went kerflooey. Oh, shit. Okay. Oops. Nope. That's me. That's me. Wait a minute. Sometimes I feel like tech. I know, right? No, this was going to happen anyway because I think something happened. Hold on. Oh, I think I fucked it up. It's funny that you. It shows that you can. No, no. Shit. Okay, well, guess what? I'm not going to be able to play anything because I fucked things up. Let me try one more thing. Okay, wait, let's try that. Yeah, shit. No, it's me. It's not TikTok. It's my problem. There's a setting on my it's my soundboard. It's routing really weirdly. And let me just make sure if I can fix it, I'll fix it. If not, I'll just read today and then we'll watch stuff. But I would like to see if I could just make it different. I fucked around. You should not fuck around with your. Don't fuck around with your audio. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. See, it looks like it's really happening. It looks like you guys are. Maybe if I. No? Okay. Fuck. 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 Okay, wait a minute. One more try and then we're gonna have to give her up. Yep. God damn it. Why? What's that mean? I don't know what that means. No? God. This is important too. It's definitely a good, oh, fuck me in the butt. Come on. Why are you guys doing this? Why? Why are you doing this? Oh, bye. I love you.
I love you.
Have a great Friday and I'll see you later. I love you. Okay, I'm going to try something really stupid.
The conflict and post-conflict environments. Kash Patel also fired
Can you hear
a
it
dozen
now?
agents and staff. I know firsthand.
Can you hear it
Iran is
now?
very sabotage, assassination.
Anybody? Can you tell me if you hear it?
Stack all of this together.
You do. No, I didn't. I didn't touch anything. I totally didn't touch anything.
For another 100 days.
What about that? Oh, I know what happened.
That's what happened. Now,
Okay.
here's why it matters. This is
Okay.
no longer
I
a
know what
contained
happened.
operation between Israel, the U.S., and Iran. This is now a regional conflict involving 17 countries, and those in charge of American strategic policy are fundamentally unequipped to handle it. They've also spent the last 15 months undermining our diplomatic readiness and our relationships with global allies, both of which are necessary to prosecute this kind of war. Consider Trump fired dozens of senior the primary oil refinery you need to know. Last night, the Iranians hit Azerbaijan's international airport. More explosions reported in Abu Dhabi. The UAE continues to be the hardest hit in the region. There's footage claiming to show Iranian ballistic missiles over Jordan. Iran hit the primary oil refinery in Bahrain, which is still on fire, and a missile struck near a U.S. naval installation. A U.S. Navy sub sank an Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka. And finally, U.S. CENTCOM is requesting support for another 100 days of Iran operations. So that's what happened. Now, here's why it matters. This is no longer a contained operation between Israel, the U.S., and Iran. This is now a regional conflict involving 17 countries, and those in charge of American strategic policy are fundamentally unequipped to handle it. They've also spent the last 15 months undermining our diplomatic readiness and our relationships with global allies, both of which are necessary to prosecute this kind of war. Consider Trump fired dozens of senior career diplomats. Several strategic posts in the Middle East have been vacant for over a year. He fired more than 1,300 State Department employees, many of whom were Middle East and counterterrorism experts. They dismantled USAID, an agency that should be playing a critical role in navigating the conflict and post-conflict environments. Kash Patel also fired a dozen agents and staff from the FBI's counterintelligence unit specifically tasked with monitoring threats from Iran. I know firsthand that Iran has a very capable intel service that has networks and cells all over the world. We haven't even seen those networks activated yet, but terrorism, sabotage, assassination, it's all on the table. When we stack all of this together, a bigger picture emerges, a picture of incompetence, lack of planning, and an inability to understand, even intellectually, the scale of the crisis they've created. That's why this conflict is spinning out of control, and this is where our alliances will be critical. Right now, the European allies are hesitantly supporting us. The French sent fighter jets, the Dutch sent warships, even the Ukrainians, they're sending drone teams. All of this despite repeated disrespect from the Trump administration over the last year. Because even if our leaders don't understand it, our allies do. They recognize this moment is critical, and they are attempting to protect, stabilize, and de-escalate. On the other hand, Trump, Hegseth, Rubio, Noam, Patel, all of them, they failed in their duty to act in the best interest of the American people. In only 5 short days, they unilaterally committed us to a massive regional war. This dwarfs Iraq or Afghanistan in complexity and in scale. And when we look at who's in command, who's making decisions, and who's working with our allies, we see a team of Fox News hosts, podcasters, Nepo babies, billionaires, and Mar-a-Lago influencers. And in charge of all of them, at the head of the table, is a calloused and diminished president who spent more time with Jeffrey Epstein than he did planning for war with Iran. There's a reason why this war with Iran feels so confusing. So let me cut right through it. My name's Adam. I used to be in the CIA.
Okay. That was it. Thank you, Gal. Sorry about that sound issue. I fucked around with my sound last night and now I'm paying the price for it. All right. Thank you, Gal. Yeah, I cannot believe that we are finding ourselves in a complete conflagration. And I actually hope that our allies, I know that they will help in terms of trying to keep this, I guess, contained. I'm not sure. It's not contained. Yeah, that video did say it all. Hi, Teresa. That video did say it all. But I hope that allies do the bare minimum in order just to keep people safe, right? Like, I don't want them attacking. Like, I hope that they're not pulled into that position. So here's what's funny, Chuds. You wanted World War III, and you thought that Kamala was going to give you World War III, or that Joe was going to give you World War III. Well, guess what? This guy was always determined to give you World War III. You just were too stupid to understand it. But this was always the plan. Always. My buddy told me that they are hiding the actual number of American fatalities. He also said there are over 1,000. I don't know that. I don't know that to be true, Jim. But what a terrible thing if we're not being told what's happening to our folks. And without USAID, yeah, people have been displaced or screwed. Wait till you see the refugee crisis now. You thought the refugee crisis was big? Well, strap in, kids, because it's about to really get big. Yeah, I agree. I don't know to what degree, but I hope that, and I think they actually will. I'm going to be very honest with you. Yeah, without a Voice of America, because Carrie Lake is an idiot. I think, I hope that I think that the Allied leaders are going to build up pressure on Trump to back out of this. And now that it's done, it's hard to back out of because it's already started, right? They've already started dropping bombs. There is probably a huge crackdown on speech in Iran. And I heard last night that Bahrain people cannot post about what's happening to them in Bahrain because there's a law against it. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with. The Allies' priority is to protect their own people and interests. NATO allies will stand with their NATO conferees. No one wants to put boots on the ground to assist the U.S. No, nor should they. I don't even want their fighter jets doing offensive shooting things. They could defensively shoot things down, right, Neil? Like, I would be in favor of them trying to defend, right? But in no way do I even want them to drone. Like, I don't even want them to drone. So, yeah, I don't know. They will, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Fun stuff today. Wait. What the fuck is this? Oh my God. Hold on. Oh my God. What the fuck? Okay, here we go. Oops. Wait. That's not what I wanted. I need this. Okay, this is from Cal Christine. How did she get this nickname? My God. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure. Yeah. Oh.
Christy Gnome is an unemployed bird-legged hoe. 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 That hoe off she goes. Christy Gnome is an unemployed bird-legged hoe.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, that's really good. Thank you, Gal. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Yes, Meowing Star. This is the other thing that I was oh shit. Fuck. Okay. This was the other thing I was looking at this morning. Actually, I have it already pulled up because I was watching it before the show started. And that is Beirut. And my question is, I have a question brought to you by Brondo. I saw that. Oh my God, I love it. Oh, a little nod to Don't Go to the Show. That's right. We watched Idiocracy because of her. Because of Don't Go to the Show. Bye. I'm not into that kind of attack, but she's so bad I have no regret. Yeah, exactly. You know what? Sometimes you reap what you sow. This is Beirut right now, a live shot of Beirut. And here's one thing I don't really understand. Birds are going crazy. Can you hear them? I hope you can. One thing I don't... Why again is Israel just allowed to bomb Beirut with no one saying anything about it? Why is Israel allowed to bomb Beirut? And I understand they're going to say Hezbollah, blah 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 blah, but that bullshit. Stop it. You know what? They admitted, or someone said they wanted to do the same thing to Lebanon as they did to Gaza, and this is literally like Israel is doing land grabs. That's what Israel is doing. Bibi Netanyahu, first of all, is trying to stay out of prison. Okay, that's one thing, because he's a war criminal and there's fucking, there's an arrest warrant out for him. So that's number one. That's the same reason for Dump. He wants to stay out of prison too. But I really want a series of repeated tones is usually a warning about fight. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they have those different tones. But I'm like, excuse me, why should we? And I know there's reasons behind it. I know there's probably, I think there's a lot of information out there about the Saudi role in this war and them wanting to tamp down Iran kind of once and for all, because Iran is a craw in their side. Iran keeps bombing areas that they have. So Saudi Arabia is actually not a fan of Iran. And then the Israelis. But if we're fighting the Saudi-Israeli war, what the fuck? Oh, dear. Why would people go along with this? Why are we going along with this? Yeah, there's an irony in that Bibi wants as much land as he can, as much waterfront land as he can, and he doesn't, that's it. That's it. And he knew about the October 7th attack long before it happened. So Bibi is the drama here. Bibi is the drama. Oh. So so anyway, I watched as they bombed Beirut all these days, and I'm like, Beirut's probably sitting there going, what the fuck did we do? Okay, we're just like existing. And if you want to talk about terrorist forces inside your government, why don't we talk about the IDF and the way they handle settlers and the settlers? Why don't we talk about the settlers if you want to talk about domestic terrorism? Because I think that Israeli settlers are domestic terrorists for Israel. That's what I think. But nobody seems to care about that. No one. Money makes the world go round. The world go round. The world go round. Yeah, I know. They really want to push this Christian nation crap. Which is funny because they're all going to hell. Anyway. So that's Beirut this morning. Or I guess their afternoon. I imagine. Yeah, it's sad. I don't know what to say sometimes. I do think this woman is the next one to be fired. Okay, that's what I think. This is the Daily Beast. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Remer aides were accused of bullying staffers and providing cover for her alleged misconduct. Whoopsie. Two top aides under... whoops, hold on. Let me make it bigger. Okay. Two top aides under fire Labor Secretary Lori Chavez de Remer are leaving after being told to resign or be fired amid a wide-reaching misconduct investigation. Chief of Staff Ji-Hun Han, I can't speak, and Deputy Rebecca Wright, I apologize, were given the ultimatum by the White House on Monday, 2 months after they were placed on leave pending a review by the department's internal watchdog into Chavez de Remer's office, the New York Post reported. Chavez de Remer, an Oregon Republican, is facing mounting pressure after the Department of Labor Office Inspector General announced in January that it was reviewing a laundry list of complaints and potential misconduct allegations involving her and the two aides who just left. Hi, Kim Thompson. How are you, darling? Let's see. There they are. Ji-Hun Han and Rebecca Wright are gone. Out of here. This is good, though. You guys are going to enjoy this. The allegations include claims that Chavez de Remer drinks on the job in her Washington, D.C. office. Day drunk. Day drunk. Wait.
That's my opinion!
That's right. She just wanted to have a drink. Okay, come on. Take the edge off. It's a hard job. And had an affair with one of her bodyguards. These girls cannot keep it together. They are just fucking the idiot guys and getting their jobs taken because they fuck guys on the job. Stop it. WAPO reports that Russia is providing Iran with targeting information to attack American forces in the Middle East. I wouldn't be shocked. Actually, I heard that the Iranian something or other, whoever's in charge right now, or the foreign minister maybe, is going to Moscow today to talk to Putin about how to help. Right? Keg's Breath declares a Christian nation. Yeah, he wishes. If you end up watching Beirut, a series of the repeated tones, did a bunch of work in Beirut. What a great place. The Lebanese are really nice people. I was there when they bombed it the last time. Ugh. No one should have to live like that. Jesus fucking Christ. Hahn and Wright are also accused of fabricating official events. Chavez de Remer could take taxpayer-funded trips in order to spend time with family or friends, providing cover for her alleged misdeeds. Let me tell you one fucking thing, and I think I brought this up multiple times, okay? I think I brought it up multiple times. But right now, I'm telling you, when they say, oh yeah, I've traveled to all of our offices across the country, I spent time visiting with people in different states, that means they're traveling on our dime. That's all that is free flights. They're not doing any work when they get to those cities. So when you hear one of these fucking secretaries of whatever say, oh yeah, I've been traveling to different locations to talk with our people, bullshit. That's a waste, fraud, waste, and abuse. Period. Yeah, I don't say close your legs per se, because frankly, cross your legs. Okay. Yeah. Because I think, the women are the ones who tend to get in trouble for the affairs. And you notice that? The women are the one who get kind of like sidelined. So I'm not really a big fan of that. I think if you're going to hold everybody to account, hold fucking everybody to account. Hahn and Wright. Okay, so that's Chavez de Remer even publicly boasted that she wanted to visit, here we go, all 50 states during her first year in the cabinet, though that goal was hindered by the record-breaking government shutdown. But she did it, man. She traveled everywhere. Did you see her in your town? Oh, God. Here we go. Cabinet member's husband banned from building she works in. That's interesting. Chavez de Remer, Hahn, and Wright have also been accused of creating a hostile work environment, with both aides allegedly bullying staff members. Shocker. In January, unnamed sources told the Post that Chavez de Remer was the, quote, boss from hell, claiming she demanded staffers run personal errands for her or perform other menial tasks unrelated to their government jobs. There she is. I love him. A complaint filed with the Labor Department's Inspector General alleges that Hahn and Wright were, quote, involved and have knowledge of the allegations against Chavez de Remer, including the claim that she had an affair with a member of her security detail who is now on leave. So it's true. No, they're lying that they know they definitely think they know it's waste. Trump goons office booze stash. We're definitely reading that. She is also accused of drinking during the workday. Uh-oh. A little White Claw for lunch, and allegedly kept a stash of champagne, bourbon, and Kahlua in her office. Hi, Amy. She had an affair with her female body? No, I don't know. I didn't know if they had a gender for the bodyguard. Let's see. On Monday, the New York Times published a photo contradicting Chavez de Remer's claim that she did not throw herself a birthday party last year. Here we go. Oh, shit. Sorry. Yeah, whatever. Okay, bye.
Lori, please.
Mr. President, everybody here who spoke works at the Department of Labor, clearly, which I love. They have all the correct talking points, but I think that's a testament, again, that we are all working together every single day. We talk to each other often, and the workforce, the skilled workforce, the education factor, retirees, it's been so important because they all touch the Department of Labor, and I have the opportunity to work with every single one. If you all haven't stopped by the Department of Labor, Mr. President, I invite you to see your big, beautiful face on a banner in front of the Department of Labor, because you are really the transformational president of the American worker, along with the American flag and President Roosevelt, because we're bringing business and labor together. And I was so honored to unveil that yesterday, and everybody is taking note of that. You also mentioned crime, and I think it's been important for my colleagues to recognize that now American workers can return to work and feel safe. That business owners aren't shutting down their businesses because they're afraid they can't protect their workers, and now it's open for business again, and it's starting right here in our nation's capital.
There you go. I thought she was going to invite him to a... Okay, stop. Oh, hate it. Stop. I hate you. Okay. Oh, my God. All right. Paid for with department funds at a time when... Oh, wait. So, do we have the picture? Oh, my God. That is so dumb. And this is why I didn't subscribe to the Daily Beast before, because I think they're stupid. Yeah, she's got a lot of booze in her desk. Paid for with department funds at a time when Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, Doug was carrying out mass federal budget cuts against the department. Where's the audit? Her staff reportedly renamed the April 7th celebration a swearing-in event, even though she had already been sworn in as Trump's labor secretary on March 11th, 2025. The Times published a photo showing Chavez de Remer blowing out candles on a birthday cake at a Labor Department gathering on April 7th. That's it? That's it? That's your big thing? Okay, what else? Let me go back and just see. All right. Well, anyway, I think she's the next one to be fired. Okay, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Speaking of jobs, oh my God. U.S. payrolls unexpectedly fell by 92,000 in February. Unemployment rate rises to 4.4. Non-farm payrolls in February fell by 92,000 compared to an estimate for 50,000 above and below the downwardly revised January total of 126. It was the third time in 5 months that the economy lost jobs. Healthcare, the primary growth driver in payroll, saw a loss of 28,000 due largely to a strike at Kaiser Permanente that sidelined more than 30,000 workers in Hawaii and California. Wages rose more than expected. Average hourly earnings increased 0.4% for the month and 3.8% from a year ago, both 0.1 percentage point above forecast. The U.S. economy lost jobs in February, a month marred by severe winter weather and a strike at a major healthcare provider, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported Friday, because our boss is drunk. Non-farm payrolls fell by 92,000 for the month compared to the estimate for 50,000 and below the downwardly blah, 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 blah. February marked the third time in the past 5 months that payrolls declined, following a sharp revision showing a drop of 17,000 in December. Oops, it's like every other month. Up some jobs, we lost jobs. Up jobs, we lost jobs. Up jobs, we lost jobs. Up jobs, we lost jobs. At the same time, the unemployment rate edged higher to 4.4% as jobs declined across key areas, a broader measure of unemployment that includes discouraged workers and those holding part-time positions for economic reasons moved lower to 7.9% or 0.2 percentage point below the January level. So this is unemployment from 2022 to 2026. Got in there. It got really rough there, and then boop, and then boop, 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 boop. Healthcare, the primary growth driver in payrolls for at least the past year, saw a loss of 28,000 due largely to a strike at Kaiser Permanente. Okay, we just read that. Though the strike has since been resolved, it occurred during the BLS survey week, so it's subtracted from the jobs total. While the jobs picture was weak, wages rose more than expected. Okay, we talked about that. I think it just tells us that the hopes that the labor market is steady, and maybe that was too much. Mary, shut the fuck up. Idiot. Growth in average hourly earnings from 22... Oh. So they fell And now they're going back up. Information services, a sector hit by artificial intelligence related cuts, also lost jobs, down 11,000 as part of a 12-month trend in which the sector has lost an average of 5,000 per month. Manufacturing saw a loss of 12,000 despite tariffs aimed at reshoring jobs from overseas. Well, would you look at that? Federal government employment also fell off 10,000 for the month. Dump's efforts to pare federal payrolls has seen a slide of 330,000 jobs, or 11% of the total workforce, since October 2024, a few months before Trump took office. Transportation and warehousing also saw a reduction of 11,000. Social assistance was one of the few sectors posting a gain, up 9,000. The weather-sensitive construction industry lost 11,000 after surging by 48 in January. Long-term unemployment also surged higher, with the average duration of unemployment at 26 weeks, the longest since December 2021. I don't think you can look through this report, and I don't think you... Okay, whatever. Jefferies economist Thomas Simons called the February payrolls drop a perfect storm of temporary drags coming together following an above-trend print in January. Oh, nothing to see here, folks. Looking through the weather-impacted sectors in the strike, which ended on February 23rd, this is still a poor jobs number, Simons added. We do not think this is a harbinger of progressively worse jobs prints coming down the road, but the risk of a downturn has certainly increased. Oh, really? You think? Though employment gains have been hard to come by, layoffs have been fairly tame, with a few notable exceptions. Inflation had been moderating, but a recent spike in gas prices following the war we started in the Middle East has raised questions about another jump. Oh boy. Elsewhere, economic growth has been solid, with reports this week showing that both the services and manufacturing sectors are expanding. Consumers have held up fairly well, though there are growing signs that most of the spending is being done by upper income earners. That's right. It's the widening wealth gap that we're going to have to... Wait, what? An entire building just went down? Oh, no. Is that this? Oh, wait, hold on. Is that this? Is that this one right here? Oops, you can't see. This... Because I noticed this is like a very dark hole now. Oh, wait. Actually, something else happened. Sorry. Oh, my God. Look at this. Look at this city. Look at this is Beirut. This is a city full of like life, businesses, families. This is just a place, like... Oh man, why do I keep... All right. I mean, this is just a place. People are just trying to like live their lives. We started all of this pain. This is all self-inflicted. All of this loss of jobs is self-inflicted. The burgeoning K-shaped economy, where the wealthy get wealthier and the poor get poorer, is absolutely happening right now. We're in it. It's not about to happen. The economy isn't going to get bad. The economy actually is bad. Okay, that's what's really going to happen. I don't know. I don't really get it. I'll read this. White House economic advisor. Oh, I see. It was a different area where they bombed. This is ridiculous. Mark Twain's career as a plumber really makes him qualified to be the secretary. Let's just hope he's overwhelmed by the job and just isn't able to actually do anything. That's my wish. My wish is Mark Wayne Mullen becomes as, oh God. Have they evacuated Beirut? Have they evacuated this area? Does anybody know? I know there have been calls for some evacuations because the Israelis give you like 5 minutes to get like 3 miles away. It's so ridiculous. So fucking gross. So fucking gross. They're expanding evacuations. And I think, Meowing, were you saying earlier that people were moving towards the coast to avoid the bombs? Let me see if I can find any other reporting on it. Hold on. Hold on. This is so terrible. Also, you know what we missed yesterday? We missed Colby speaking on, I think, for the Armed Services, to the Armed Services Committee. So let's see. Sorry, hold on. Hold on.
Clear if it was a rocket or a drone. Obviously, as you just mentioned, drones and missiles being fired at the Gulf states, notably fewer missiles to Tel Aviv today. That's because Israel says it has been doing this mop-up work on the missile launchers, decreasing the missile capability of Iran by about 80% at this point. A senior official who used to be the head of military
I don't believe that.
here, who claims that he
I
was
don't believe it.
came up with the original plan, told me that even if they get the missile capacity down to 99%, he still thinks it'll be 3 or 4 years before Iran is back up and coming and running. And that brings me to something else.
So we're just destroying a country? We're just going to fucking destroy it.
I'm not sure it's incredibly likely. We have to remember that.
Why don't we see what's happening on the ground? I bet he was frustrating, yeah. Eldridge couldn't remember anything. Oh, okay. Fucker.
Or nearly a million deaths.
Your comment was censored, Jay?
Massive damage in that country, massive amounts of casualties, and they held on. So it's not really in the character of this particular.
Hi. Hi, Clark. Hi, love. How are you?
The best way to go.
How's it going? World War III?
That's not something we're going to see. They are.
It's not getting smaller.
As long as possible. Stretch this war out, prolong it, make it as painful as possible for those Gulf countries. Force that flow of oil into just a trickle and inflict as much economic pain as possible.
Excuse
the US
me.
at some point wants to end this. Iran wants to prolong it. And
Are you kidding me right now, sir? Are you kidding me? You're telling me that the Iranians would like to extend this war? You're saying the Iranians are the ones who extended the war? They were attacked. Just like Ukraine was attacked, we attacked Iran. Now, granted, I'm not a fan of the Ayatollah. I'm not a fan of, whatever. I also don't live in Iran. So it's not really our decision to fucking just bomb the fuck out of a country because, I don't know, because the Saudis and the Israelis tell us they need us to do that. I don't know. So we're basically their Air Force or something. Was behind for a moment there to capture a clip. Yes, I saw a video yesterday of thousands upon thousands gathering along the coast in Lebanon having been told to evacuate. I remember that. I didn't see that picture, but I will seek it out.
we'll see where the two meet in the middle.
Okay, so this guy claims that Iran is the one who wants to extend the war. No, I don't think so. I think we started a war and we don't know what to do next. I really think that's true. Or for some reason, we didn't expect Iran to bomb our allies in the region. Did we really not expect that? I mean, there should be so many more questions being asked about this fucking war, this World War III that he's gotten us into. I can't imagine what it's like to live over there. That's right. And there's just constant war and attacks. Iran also has a highly literate society with women often outnumbering men in university enrollment. Yep. I mean, it just, it's just not our business. And yeah, you can say, oh, the Ayatollah is bad, and you can help, but that's why you have things like USAID. That's why you have things like diplomatic services, because it's through diplomacy that you encourage trade with countries in exchange for human rights to be respected. There are ways. It's leverage. Leverage is the way to get people to do things, and economic inclusion is the way. Is it true that the number one funder of terrorism? I don't know. Where are they getting their money? Just from the oil? I suppose. But you know what? If I were a small country that keeps getting attacked because I have a really big oil thing, then I would fucking do what I needed to protect myself too. I'm not saying terrorism is right, but I feel like, part of it was that Iran's hand has also been kind of forced in some ways. Oh yeah, totally, not justifying. Yeah, I just feel like this isn't, I don't know. When it comes to the reasons for this particular action are so corrupt and so not in support of what the people of Iran need. We're dropping bombs on Iran. Okay? Israel is dropping bombs on Iran. People are dying. We just don't happen to be hearing about it because there's no news coming out of there. So I think there's other ways that are very difficult, by the way, to get governments. Trust me, I worked in an organization that tried to work with governments to end human trafficking and slavery in their countries. I know what that's like. I know what that work is. There is a lot of work already done in the world to work with authoritarian governments in any way, shape, or form to get them to ease their treatment of people. It's totally done. Like yeah. So I don't know. It just feels very much like this was very much a wrong action. I heard a chud say, a Maple MAGA chud say last night. I just tuned in for a minute, and he said, "You have to start war to end war sometimes." And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? That the chuds actually think that this is the way you end conflict between countries? Are you fucking what? Are you so dumb? I can't even believe it. Yeah, it's a holy war, I know. Rhinoplasty is viewed as a sign of wealth and social standing. Tehran has been described as having more procedures per person than LA. Really? Now? They have a bunch of plastic surgery now. Trump ripped up the Obama plan. We knew this would happen. Absolutely, Jay. Worldwide pecking order. Mm-hmm. Holy war. Yep. Surgical bandages on the nose are a common sign. Okay. They really think like that. Oh, wait. Who really thinks like that? Wait, Sharon, I missed your first comment. Shit. Hold on. Let's see. Eaten by an ostrich. Wait, who got eaten by an ostrich? Oh, that guy. Yeah. No, he wasn't in charge. He didn't like the ostriches. This is the other one. This is the other Maple MAGA. Christian nationalism versus Sharia Islamism. I mean, yeah, I don't want either one. How about no religion? Okay. I'm into no religion. A real von Clausewitz there, Lolo. If you want peace, prepare for war. Yeah, it's just like, literally this dude was like, well, sometimes you have to start a war to end a war. And I'm like, excuse me? Oh, that's the answer. It is. It is the answer. It absolutely is. And that's why religion, kids, it doesn't belong in your politics, okay? Compared to the U.S., where procedures can cost $10K, Iran medical tourism and surgeries are a fraction. Oh, wow. That is the answer. No religion. I mean, it just needs to be completely separate. You can go to church if you want. I don't care about that. I don't care what you do. But separation of church and state is absolutely vital. And we can see now where it gets us into great trouble. So, yeah. Yep, that Jay Rance. Good job. Living for today. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. And the world will live as one. Okay, let me read you this. Let me read you this. Because I was looking like, why would Saudi Arabia want to bomb Iran, right? Like I was like, because I was hearing about Saudi Arabia being behind a lot of the push to really take down Iran or something like that. And I was like, gosh, why would Saudi Arabia want to do that? Because I don't really know that much about the relationship between those two countries. Well, so I did a little reading. This is from the Atlantic Council, which is a think tank. So I kind of take it with a grain of salt. You know, this is an analyst for a think tank writing. But I did find this part interesting. Riyadh eyes a new era. Saudi Arabia arguably stands to benefit the most from a weakened Iran. Saudi Arabia has long sought to become the dominant power in the Middle East, and Iran has consistently posed the greatest threat to this goal, given its military capabilities, network of proxies, and regional ambitions. That threat was dulled following last year's 12-day war and the weakening of Iran's proxy network. Now, the ongoing U.S. and Israeli operations could deal a more resounding blow. Saudi Arabia's dominant role in the region may explain why Iran initially demonstrated relative restraint in the first 48 hours since the U.S. and Israeli strikes began. Iran reportedly conducted just 2 attacks on Saudi Arabia compared to more than 150 missiles and 500 drones against the UAE. Iran may have calculated that Saudi Arabia was the most likely of the Gulf countries to respond militarily, and so it refrained from major attacks against Saudi Arabia until it made the decision to elevate its attacks against the Gulf on March 2nd, at which point it started targeting major oil and gas infrastructure in the region, including Saudi Arabia. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman appears to be prepared to seize upon the current opportunity to cement Riyadh's role as the dominant power in the Middle East, even as Saudi Arabia remains wary about U.S. and Israeli operations. This nuance helps explain the mixed messaging regarding whether Saudi officials were advocating U.S. strikes against Iran. As Saudi Arabia molds its response to the Iranian attacks, you think they're mulling it, or do you think they mold it? Riyadh will be seeking to gauge how best to shape what comes next in Iran and whether the current operations provide a credible opportunity to durably address the Iranian threat. Inconsistent U.S. messaging on Washington's objectives for the campaign poses a serious challenge for Riyadh in this regard, and Saudi success is far from guaranteed. A crippled Iranian regime may not be able to compete with Saudi influence in the way it once did, but an unstable Iran could pose a sustained threat to Saudi Arabia and the rest of the region, especially if Iran's allies in Yemen decide to seize upon the turmoil to break their long détente with Riyadh. As events continue to unfold in the coming weeks, Saudi Arabia's posture could provide valuable clues to what the coming era in the Middle East may bring. So that I found somewhat interesting. Kind of, sort of. Let's see if I have any more war stuff. Fucking war. This is something from I got from Gal. Oh, let's talk about Ecuador. This is from our love Tina. Tina loves the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project. Let me tell you, Tina is a big fan of the OCCRP. She is a big fan. Let me check in with my friends here. You have to check out the European media to get the truth. The American media. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. Da 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 da. William Shatner singing "Imagine" to bluegrass. Yes, Mr. Spock. Yes. Yes. Imagine all the people. Hi, birdies. Oh, the birdies are so cute. I wonder why my cats aren't at the window. God, man, my cat's like fucking pounded me this morning, like running over to the window. Like I sleep near the window, so they ran over me to the window when the birds started. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing? What are we being bombed? Okay. Oh my God. All right. Cocaine and bananas. Cocaine and bananas. Cocaine and bananas. Cocaine and bananas. Yeah. Cocaine and bananas. How Balkan traffickers, the Balkans, go figure, used fruit shipments from the Ecuadorian president's family firm to smuggle drugs. What? Shipping containers sent by Noboa Trading Company have been caught up in a huge drug shipment sent from Ecuador to the Balkans. Among those handling this cocaine when it reached Europe was a drug trafficking group allegedly led by convicted drug lord Darko Saric. I don't know how to say his name. William Shatner has been an interesting... Yeah, he does have some good spoken word. I can't find the video of the people on the coast, but the current reported number is over 500,000 told to evacuate. That's so fucking ridiculous. Why are we allowing this? Why? Why isn't anyone saying anything? I can't. I just don't understand. Okay, here we go. All right, let me read this, and then we'll get to that. God damn it. This was written in December. An encrypted chat between alleged Balkan, but this kind of helps also provide some Ecuadorian context because we're down in Ecuador fighting narco-terrorism. You should know that. Did you know that? Did you know that we're down in Ecuador doing a special operation with the Ecuadorian military or someone to do a drug trafficking operation? I mean, not we're going to drug traffic, but we're supposed to be like killing a bunch of people who traffic drugs, I guess. Okay, here we go. An encrypted chat between Balkan drug traffickers in February 2021 reveals them bragging about having exclusive rights to smuggle cocaine alongside bananas. I want those bananas. Okay, I'm telling you right now. In shipping containers exported by the Ecuadorian president's family firm. This is why your president shouldn't be an exporter, maybe. I don't know. A confidential Croatian prosecution document shows two people using the encrypted messenger platform Sky ECC and identified only by anonymous PIN numbers, boasting that, quote, no one but them was allowed to load cocaine in containers shipped by the Noboa Trading Company. Noboa Trading is part of, I don't know why I'm laughing, and Noboa Corporation, a sprawling business empire that produces bananas. Yes, they have a lot of copper. That's right. Ecuador has a lot of copper. That's very important. We're taking over the Americas. Yeah, because we're idiots. Russia's going to aid the Iran war. Okay, so I just have breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Guys. Oh, fuck you. Why do you not open? Russia is aiding Iran's war effort by providing intel on U.S. military targets. That's CNN reporting to confirm what was already broken in the lounge by one of the loungers, because God damn it, you guys are the smartest. You're the best damn friends in the whole damn town. I want to live like common people. Wait, what's that from? Check out Jack Bryan's Lawyers, Guns, and Money podcast about CIA drug dealing. Yes, actually, I would like to listen to that. I subscribe, but I haven't listened to their things. Good morning, Tom. How are you, darling? Mine in Ecuador has some of the largest copper. Yeah, I know. That's why we're down there. Noboa Trading is part of Noboa Corporation, a sprawling business empire that produces bananas under the Bonita brand and is run by the family of Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa. Noboa Trading Company did not respond to questions, and the Office of the President declined to comment. because crime. This is that's in Croatian, and I do not understand it. An excerpt from the encrypted Sky chat quoted by Croatian prosecutors, in which the drug traffickers boast that no one told but them is allowed to. Okay. While the Croatian document showed only anonymous pins, a Serbian indictment exclusively obtained by KRIK allowed reporters to identify one of the interlocutors as Nikola Dordevic. I don't know how to say. I don't speak Croatian. An alleged organized crime figure currently wanted by police in Serbia in an unrelated cocaine smuggling case. Although it's unclear exactly how Dordevic and his associates would have accessed the containers of a major fruit exporter, there is evidence that their claim wasn't just an empty boast. There he is, looking sharp, looking happy. Not anymore, though, right, Nicola? In their encrypted chats, the alleged traffickers referred to 3 specific shipments of cocaine they were expecting by date, ship name, and container number. Reporters matched the details shared in their discussions to real Noboa trading banana shipments using shipping records and export data. For example, they mentioned a massive 430 kilogram load of cocaine hidden in the container whatever, which they said left Ecuador on January 25th. By consulting shipping logs and export data, reporters confirmed that Noboa Trading had indeed shipped that exact container on that exact date. All 3 of the shipments, which were examined in detail by reporters from KRIK, OCCRP, and the Investigative Journalism Bureau. God, I wish we had all those people like right here. Were sent from Ecuador's Guayaquil port aboard the Liberian-flagged container ship MSC Maria in late 2020 and early 2021 before being transferred to other ships. In total, they contained 535 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of at least 26 million euros. What? Oh, what? Check signal about Saudi Arabia and others thinking of pulling back investments. Oh, right. Shit, I forgot about that. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. Oh my God. My beautiful signal, people. Where's my beautiful signal? There it is. There it is. I love my friends, yes I do. I love my friends, yes I do. Where am I? Where? Oh. Oh, is it in the? Oh wait, is it here? No. Can't find it. Oh wait, no. Shit. To lead me? No. No. Oh, I totally. Okay, there. Wait, I think I got it. Fucking love you, Teresa. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. It's just me. I'm an idiot. My friends are so patient with me. I can't even tell you. Can I just tell you how patient my friends are with me? Why? So Guay is in Ecuador? There you go. Who knew? Max, street drugs are all at high risk contamination. Yeah. I mean, you know. I told my daughter, I'm like, don't you ever do cocaine now. It's no longer safe. She's like, Mom, I don't do any drugs. So don't worry. You're the one that does drugs, Mom, not me. Okay. Thank you, Teresa, for this. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Qatar are discussing pulling back from U.S. and other investments as the toll from this regional war with Iran mounts. Okay, so they clearly didn't know that Iran was going to strike targets in fucking UAE and all that. Dubai, right? Hitting a fucking... So Guy is your chiropractor? That's so cool. We'll tell them they have a great name that is often quoted with love in the lounge. Risk of fentanyl contamination is widespread. Yeah, it definitely is. Let's see here. The official said, wait, 3 of the 4 big Gulf economies, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, had jointly discussed the strains being put on their budget and economies, but they declined to name the states. A number of Gulf countries have begun an internal review to determine whether force majeure clauses can be invoked in current. Okay, I'm sorry. I need glasses. I need glasses to read this. Okay. Can I make it big? I don't think I can make this bigger. Okay. It's like this print is like melting into the background. Force majeure. Okay. Especially if the war and related expenses continue. I can't. I think I can see it better without my glasses. They added that the move was a precautionary measure that was the result of the budget strains these countries are facing due to reduced income from energy, due to the slowdown in output or the inability to ship, and from the tourism and aviation sectors, in addition to the increases in defense spending. Wow. Well, that's pretty much a big hit. An advisor to a Gulf government said that the prospect of an investment review by the wealthy states had caught the White House's attention. They manage some of the world's largest and most active sovereign wealth funds, and Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar last year pledged to invest hundreds of billions of dollars in the U.S. after Trump visited the region. There are also big backers of sporting events around the world and have been investing heavily domestically to develop their nations and diversify their economies. Any move that affects investments in the U.S. or other Western states may raise the pressure on Trump to seek a diplomatic strategy to bring the war to an end. The oil-rich Gulf states have been dragged into the conflict that the U.S. and Israel launched against Iran, with Tehran unleashing a ferocious response against Washington's regional allies. The war has caused shipping traffic to slow to a halt through the Strait of Hormuz, the crucial waterway through which a fifth of the world's oil and gas passes, with at least 10 tankers being struck. That's a lot of money. Yeah. I will link. I guess I don't subscribe to Financial Times. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure it out. Well, that's interesting. That makes it interesting. I would imagine this was I'm just shocked. Can I just say again, I know I'm kind of a broken record. I'm just shocked that the intelligence that would have been shared with our partners in the region wouldn't have included that it is highly likely that your locations will be struck with drones, etc. You know what I mean? We don't do that. You can't. I know. You can't really OD. Yeah. Guy is my member. That's right, Neil. I forgot. You have our representative in Parliament. Guy is our member in Parliament. He represents the lounge, or they represent the lounge. Forgive me. I want to read that. Okay. And we're going to read this ProPublica report. I'm going to take a break, though. Wait, let me take a break. It's so much naked hubris. It's so much. And I really am fascinated to see what Saudi Arabia does next. I really am. And how does Saudi Arabia feel about Beirut being bombed out of existence? You know, how do they feel about that? Right? I mean, I don't think Lebanon is like a pariah country, right? There's a lot of business that comes out of Lebanon. I remember being in Liberia, and all of the like restaurants, businesses, those kinds of like some import export type stuff. There were tons of Lebanese business people in Liberia creating businesses and stuff like that. Like, not that no one should probably colonialize Liberia, because I love Liberia and I want it to be Liberian. But at the same time, that, they're not like a country running around just doing terrorism. Like they're not just all Hezbollah, right? What has Hezbollah even done recently? Isn't it been more Israel bombing them or blowing them up with pagers and shit like that? I don't know. Who's the terrorist? That's what I want to know. Who's really the terrorist? Yikes. Sorry. Okay. Okay. USA will be the pariah. Well, we are. We are the pariah country, I feel. We are the pariah. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. We're the drama. Am I the drama? I can't be the drama. I'm the drama. Maybe I am. Documents reveal a web of financial ties between Trump officials and the industries they help regulate. Oh, darn it. March 5th. ProPublica is releasing a trove of disclosure records that detail the finances of more than 1,500 Trump appointees, including former lobbyists, industry executives, and at least a dozen officials who declined to identify former clients. Paul Manafort, anybody? Okay. Oh, they're doing on Wednesday, April 8th for a walkthrough of ProPublica's new database. Oh, well, I will be registering. Let me bookmark that. Thousands of companies are jockeying for billions of dollars in Defense Department contracts to build a shield designed to intercept and destroy missiles launched against the United States. It's the Golden Pee-Pee Dome. But amid the intense competition, a handful of firms have an important inside connection. At least 4 of the companies awarded contracts so far are owned by Cerberus. I never know how to say that. Cerberus Capital Management, a private equity firm founded by billionaire Steve Feinberg, who until last year ran the company and is now the Deputy Secretary of Defense, the second highest ranking official in the Pentagon. Feinberg oversees the office in charge of the Golden Dome for the America project, which is modeled on Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. Feinberg filed paperwork saying he divested from Cerberus and its related businesses, but his government ethics record contained an unusual clause. He is allowed to continue contracting with the company for tax compliance and accounting services, as well as healthcare coverage, a financial relationship that documents show would continue indefinitely. Wouldn't you love a deal like that where you didn't have to work at a company anymore, but you could keep all your benefits? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Hezbollah retaliated for strikes on Iran on Monday. Effectively, Iran, Hezbollah are in a NATO. Yeah, which I understand that. I don't know. It seems like an outsized response, but, there we go. There's an article on Epstein Reddit claiming Israel Intel has unredacted Epstein files. Really? I wouldn't be shocked by that. I don't think it's formal, but of course it is. No, I expect them to do that. But the response by the Israelis has been outsized. I'm sorry. You just don't blow up an entire city because you're fucking, Putin. How did you escape, Putin? I don't even get what's happening here. Where did Putin come from? Oh, man, now I can't even move him. Damn it. Where are you? Pootie. Hold on, let me try and move Putin. He's so squirrely. I should lock him into position. That's what I should do. I'm going to have to lock you in, Pootie. You're being a butthole. And I can't actually find you. God, you're squirrely. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Oh, that's not you. Oh, my God, there's just too many things on this. Too many dicks on the dance floor. Too many dicks. Where is Putin? Oh, it's just not going to tell me. Okay, fine. Whatever. I can't be bothered. Putin is very, very outsized. Very, very outsized. And even, one might say that when you're hit, maybe the answer isn't to hit, but to reach out. I don't know. I know I'm naive. I get it. But what has it worked for us so far to do all this shit? Has it worked? No, it hasn't. It hasn't worked. It's not working now. Unless this was what they planned, which I don't know. I'd like to hear Jamie Dimon now, because the other day he was like celebrating before the war started. But his government, okay, Feinberg filed paperwork saying he divested from Cerberus and its related businesses. Hi, Oomph. Do we even know the metrics of success? That's a good point. I mean, what is the metric of success in that? I don't think anybody wins. I don't think there's a win. He is allowed to continue contracting with the company for tax compliance and accounting services, as well as healthcare coverage. Feinberg's financial statements and ethics agreements are part of a trove of nearly 3,200 disclosure records that ProPublica is making public today. The disclosures, which can be reviewed in a searchable online tool, detail the finances of more than 1,500 federal officials appointed by Dump. Records for Dump and J.D. Vance are also included. The documents reveal a web of financial ties between senior government officials and the industries they help regulate, relationships that have drawn scrutiny as Trump has dismantled ethics safeguards designed to prevent conflicts of interest. On his first day back in office, Dump rescinded an executive order signed by Biden that required his appointees to comply with an ethics pledge. Because that's so controversial. The pledge barred them from working on issues related to their former lobbying topics or clients for 2 years. Weeks later, Dump fired 17 inspectors general charged with investigating fraud, corruption, and conflicts of interest across the federal government. Around the same time, he removed the head of the Office of Government Ethics, the agency that oversees ethics compliance throughout the executive branch. The office is currently without a head or a chief of staff. Against that backdrop, ProPublica has over the past year used the disclosure records to investigate how personal financial interests have intersected with the government decision-making inside the Dump administration. No, you're not, Jane. No, you're not late. The documents help show that senior executive branch officials, including Attorney General Pamela Joe, made well-timed security trades, at times selling stocks just before markets plunged because Dump announced new tariffs. The officials either did not respond to requests or said they had no insider information before they made their trades. Other disclosures revealed that 2 high-ranking scientists at the Environmental Protection Agency, who recently helped downgrade the agency's assessment of the health risks of formaldehyde, Jesus Christ, had previously held senior positions at the chemical industry's leading trade group. The EPA said the scientists had obtained ethics advice approving their work on the project. Okay. From Dump. In December, ProPublica reported that Trump appointed more than 200 people who collectively owned, either by themselves or with their spouses, between $175 million and $340 million in cryptocurrency investments at the time they filed their disclosures. Some of those appointees now hold positions overseeing or influencing regulation of the crypto industry. Well, who better, right? Appoint the experts. Among them are Turd Blanche. Oh, my Lord. Trump's former criminal defense attorney and now the second highest ranking official in the Justice Department. Oh. Turd's disclosure records show that he owned at least $159,000 in crypto-related assets last year when he shut down investigations into crypto companies, dealers, and exchanges. Well, now it's worth nothing. So how about that? Where's the crypto these days? Where's he probably owns USD1 or something. Ding 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 ding. No, I don't want to open an account. I just want you to give me the motherfucking data. Give me the motherfucking data. Give me the motherfucking data. Oh, whoa. Stop it. Give me the motherfucking data. Okay, all right. What? Fine. Crypto prices. Because the internet is stupid and I know. Oh, the internet is stupid, this I know. Oh, the internet is stupid. The internet is stupid. The internet is stupid. Oh, no. Poor old Bitcoin is down. Is down to 68,000. Ooh. If lawmakers are insider trading, then they need to share the info with constituents. Yeah. And for the cynics, just population reduction, destruction of international order. Yes. 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 Anyway. Yeah. So I don't know if he owns 159,000 now because I think everything is pretty much down. Let's see. When he shut down investigations. Okay. After ProPublica reported on Turd's actions, 6 Democratic senators accused him of a glaring conflict of interest, and a watchdog group asked the Justice Department's Inspector General to investigate. A Justice Department spokesperson has said that Turd upholds the highest ethical standards and that his crapto orders were appropriately flagged, addressed, and cleared in advance. By who? Ivanka? But she did not respond to questions asking who had cleared his actions, which is what I want to know. If it was Mrs. Beasley, he's a hostage, okay? Conflicts of interest have long plagued both Democratic and Republican administrations, but ethics experts say Trump's second term marks a sharp break from modern norms. Is that what we call it now? A sharp break? Is that the word we use for that? Is that it? Okay. Trump has openly defended his family's financial enrichment while he's in office, including through cryptocurrency deals that critics say allow investors, including foreign entities, to curry favor by boosting the president's personal wealth. I don't know. What is he going to announce? I found out nobody cared, and I'm allowed to, Trump told the New York Times, referring to his family's business dealings. I found out nobody cared. I found out nobody cared. Trump also remains unapologetic about accepting a Boeing 747 worth about $400 million from the Qatari government and transferring nearly $1 billion from a nuclear weapons program to retrofit it. Virginia Cantor, chief counsel for ethics and corruption at Democracy Defenders Fund, a nonprofit governmental watchdog group, cited Trump's new plane as a brazen example of self-dealing. Ethics is in the toilet, said Cantor, who served as an ethics lawyer at the White House, Treasury Department, and Securities and Exchange Commission during the presidencies of George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama. White House spokesperson Anna Kelly defended the president and his appointees, of course. President Trump is leading the most transparently corrupted administration in history, Kelly said. He has also nominated a highly qualified individuals across the executive branch who have a wide range of public and private sector backgrounds. Thank you very much for your attention to this matter. The idea of a space-based missile defense shield has persisted ever since Ronald Reagan proposed his own version he nicknamed Star Wars. Oh, I remember that. Trump rekindled the idea on the campaign trail. His golden piss dome for America imagines a battery of weapons deployed from land, sea, and space, able to destroy missiles launched at the U.S. In December, the Defense Department started selecting. I love that journalists will not call it the War Department. Thank you, journalists. That's one fucking thing you've done right. In December, the Defense Department started selecting companies for the project, for which it has allocated as much as $151 billion. Oh, my God. So far, the agency has granted awards to more than 2,000 firms. Cerberus owns or is a majority investor in at least 4 of them: Northwind, Strato Launch, Red River Technology, and NetCentrics Corp. Citing national security concerns, defense officials have not publicized the amounts of each contract or the products and services the companies are providing. The Defense Department is required by law to publicly announce only contracts worth more than $9 million. Feinberg, who co-founded Cerberus in 1992, listed assets worth at least $2 billion when he was nominated by Dump last year. In his ethics agreement, Feinberg said he would divest his stake in the firm, potentially giving assets to irrevocable trusts benefiting his adult children, a maneuver that is legal under federal conflict of interest law, but one that ethics experts say undermines its intent. Feinberg also told ethics officials that he needed to contract with Cerberus for accounting, tax, and healthcare services in the short term, but would find other providers by April 2026. However, at Feinberg's request, the Defense Department officials approved an extension earlier this year, allowing the financial relationship to continue without an end date. In an amendment to his ethics agreement, he said he would, quote, pay customary and reasonable fees for Cerberus's services, but did not say how much those would be. Oh, tisk tisk, Steve Feinberg. I'm going to have to put you in Nuremberg, it seems. Oh, boy. It's unclear what role Feinberg has played or will play in deciding which firms receive Golden Dome contracts. In response to questions from ProPublica, the Defense Department said Feinberg does not have, quote, direct responsibility for any Golden Dome acquisitions, but did not elaborate. The department would not comment on whether Feinberg or anyone in his office had met with any contractor representatives. What is not disputed is Feinberg's oversight of the Golden Dome initiative. Space Force General Michael Gutlein, who heads the project, reports directly to him. Richard Painter, a former White House ethics lawyer under President George W. Bush, said Feinberg's ongoing relationship with Cerberus creates at least a perception of a conflict of interest that could undermine confidence in the contracting process, in the fairness of the contracting process. This is what President Eisenhower worried about in the 60s when he railed against the military-industrial complex. Painter said of Eisenhower's farewell address warning of the risks of a too close relationship between the military and private defense businesses. In response to questions from ProPublica, a Cerberus spokesperson said in an email, Mr. Feinberg divested his stake in Cerberus and any fund that it manages and is not involved with the operations of Cerberus or any of its portfolio companies in any way. The spokesperson added that the administrative services provided to Feinberg, quote, are unrelated to any investment activities or operations of Cerberus or its funds and were pre-approved by the Department of War's Ethics Office and the Office of Government Ethics. Well, we don't trust them. How about that, bitch? Another top official in the department is Mark Berkowitz, who was confirmed in December as Assistant Secretary of Defense for Space Policy. During his confirmation, Berkowitz described the Golden Dome project as one of his top priorities. Berkowitz previously worked as a space industry consultant and vice president for strategic planning at Lockheed Martin. The giant defense and aerospace company was among the firms awarded the Golden Dome contracts days before Berkowitz's confirmation. Lockheed is likely to compete for a large role in the project. The company has set up a web page dedicated to the Golden Dome, and Reuters reported that Lockheed is one of several firms that received contracts to build competing prototypes of the missile defense system. In his financial disclosure documents, Berkowitz reported receiving 2 monthly pensions from Lockheed and owning between $1 million and $5 million worth of stock in the firm. There's a conflict. Berkowitz agreed to divest by March 18th, documents show. During his confirmation hearing, he downplayed any potential role he would have in Golden Dome contract decisions, noting that his position was more about policy. A senior Defense Department official told ProPublica that Berkowitz is recusing himself from matters involving Lockheed until his remaining shares are sold. Pentagon spokesperson, idiot Sean Parnell, God, what an idiot. Yeah, Bitcoin's about 68 or 70, said the department's ethics framework is rigorous and that Feinberg and Berkowitz are in full compliance. Any claims to the contrary are fake news, Parnell said. Other agencies have similar industry links. Across the administration, former lobbyists and corporate executives now occupy influential positions, including Bondi, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. Their ties to former clients, Susie has Putin as a former client too. That's just crazy. Their ties to former clients have made national headlines, but ProPublica's searchable online tool provides the public an important glimpse into the financial relationships of a powerful and often hidden cadre of presidential appointees within the federal bureaucracy. Reports show that after being nominated to head the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Jonathan Morrison revealed he served for 2 years as a director of the Autonomous Vehicle Industry Association, a trade group that represents companies that make and use self-driving cars. He left the position in February 2024. At his confirmation hearing last year, Morrison said he wanted the NHTSA to set national standards and play a leading role in the industry's development of self-driving vehicles. Oh, really? They have a stop loss in? Oh, dear. Well, good luck with that. Good luck. Sometimes you run right through those stop losses, those limits. Sean Rushton, an NHTSA spokesperson, said Morrison didn't have to recuse himself from matters involving the autonomous vehicle group because he left the organization long before the presidential election and his nomination as Highway Traffic Safety Administrator. Most political appointees and senior officials in the executive branch are required by law to file public financial disclosure reports. These documents detail their financial assets, the positions they hold outside government, their spouses' holdings, their liabilities, and their recent financial transactions, such as buying or selling stock, during a defined period. For the most part, the law does not require appointees to provide exact financial values, but instead a range. At least a dozen appointees withheld the identities of previous clients, ProPublica found. Appointees are allowed to keep the name of former clients confidential under exceptional circumstances, such as when the identity is protected by a court order or revealing the name would violate the rules of a professional licensing organization. In New York and Washington, D.C., for example, the organizations that license attorneys prohibit them from revealing confidential information about a client in most situations, including if doing so would be embarrassing or is likely to be detrimental to the client. While the relationship between a client and an attorney is often made public, in some cases, if, for instance, an appointee had conducted legal defense work for a client during a non-public criminal investigation, the client's identity could be withheld from the financial disclosure. Guidelines issued by the Office of Government Ethics say that such situations are unusual, and it is extremely rare for a filer to rely on this exception for more than a few clients. But at the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, where's Jamie? Where's Jamie? Where are you, Jamie? Where are you? There you are. But at the Office of Lucky Charms, which was responsible for tariff policy, the head of the agency, little Jameson Greer, Lucky Charms, that's right, what's what we call him, withheld the names of more than 50 former clients from his time at King and Spalding, one of the nation's most influential law firms. In his disclosure, Greer cited the New York and D.C. bar rules for not identifying the clients. Yeah. Greer's senior advisor in the federal agency, Kwan Kim, previously worked as an international trade lawyer for Covington and Burling from October 2020 to February 2025. Kim helped businesses win federal exemptions from steel and aluminum tariffs and defended companies accused by investigators of import-related crimes, according to a Covington biography that has since been taken down. Kim kept the names of 52 companies he represented secret, citing the D.C. bar rules, disclosure documents show. Wow. His senior advisor, lobbied for his own friends. Jameson neat. Jameson's on the rocks because he's going to get his fucking tariffs rolled back. He's not happy about it. The U.S. Trade Representative Office didn't respond. Lucky Charms, not saying a thing. When the names of former clients are withheld, it becomes virtually impossible for the public to know if an official's actions in the government benefit a former client. Kendrick Payne, ethics director at the nonpartisan watchdog group Campaign Legal Center, said the lack of disclosure is concerning. Is it? I'm concerned. When you see these types of close connections between the regulated community and the new regulators, it raises a yellow flag. Okay, because these officials are walking an ethical tightrope where any meeting or communication with their former employer and client could become a serious conflict of interest. ProPublica's journalists have been gathering the records for more than a year. We obtained all of the disclosures that were available from the Office of Government Ethics. Those consist of the top appointees who require Senate confirmation. To get records for people working in lower level positions, we made requests to individual federal agencies. Some didn't respond or responded partially. Records we requested for about 1,200 people weren't provided. Still, ProPublica's online tool is the most comprehensive source of financial whatever. Let's see. I want to see where it is. Oh, man. Come on. Oh. Thank you. I want to see if I can find the link to the tool. A link to a tool, a link to a tool. Here we go. We're going to bookmark that, baby. Excellent. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at that later. Let's see. Let me turn to something I really wanted to read. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay, so I wanted to read this. It's 30 pages. We may not get through all of it. Oh, I can get rid of Jameson. Oh my God, Putin, I don't know where you are. Where are you? Hello, is it me you're looking for? Let me just get rid of Putin because it's bugging me. I wish he was this easy to get rid of in real life. Am I right? Let's see. Where am I? Putin. Where is Putin? Where is Putin? Where is Putin? I think he's in this folder. Tisha, Misha, Nakrisha. Wait, where is it? Tisha, Misha, Nakrisha. Oh my God. Come on. Where are you? Where are you, little whippersnapper? I should lock you in place. Oh, no, that's not you. It's the other one. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Oh, it is locked. Okay, well, boop. Get back in your spot, mister. I'll lock you there. Okay. Sorry about that. Everyone's like, you're the weirdest person in the world. Why are we watching this? I feel old when I hear younger Gen Z slang and just cannot follow it. That's a fake Putin. That's right. Teresa, we're all old. I mean, old when we're like, nice and old. Rice-A-Roni. Oh my God. It's a San Francisco treat. I used to ride a cable car back up to my apartment when I worked at Schwab in San Francisco. I used to ride the cable car up Powell Street. Or not Powell. Up California, because I lived on California Street. Okay, here we go. This is about the trans law in Kansas. And I wanted to just kind of try and follow what's going to happen with this bullshit. And I was reading Democracy Docket last night, and I found this, which is the ACLU is bringing suit against the state of Kansas. Actually, that's not true. I mean, mostly tourists do, but I rode them as a commute. There's plenty of people that commute on cable cars in the city. It's just not full. It's not filled with commuters. Although in the mornings it kind of was, but yeah, it's mostly whatever. Yeah, blimp travel is making a comeback. I loved riding a cable car to work. Are you kidding me? It was so fun. I usually rode it up the hill because I lived on a hill. So I usually rode it up the hill to go home, but not to go to work. I just walked down the hill. I mean, come on now. It's not that hard. And I would take the cable car to the grocery store, which was at the other side. So yeah, I love that was very convenient. You just jump off, because I had a pass. I loved San Francisco back when I lived there in the 90s. God, I miss that. Really? There's only two? Well, yeah. But, yeah. Still, people do ride them. They go across the city. So, yeah. They're not. I lived there for 8 years, so I know what I'm talking about. But anyway. But, yeah, I don't need to argue with you about the fucking cable cars, Max. It's not that big deal. Okay, plaintiffs Daniel Doe and Matthew Moe, by and through their undersigned attorneys, bring this petition against the above-named defendants, their employees, agents, and successors, blah, blah, blah. The lawsuit... Okay. You win. Yeah, it's a streetcar. Yeah, a streetcar. Yeah, that's the one. The little cable cars that climb halfway to the stars. That's the one. I got off right before they got to the stars. This lawsuit seeking declaratory and injunctive relief challenges Kansas Senate Bill 244, which was enacted on February 18, 2026, over Governor Laura Kelly's veto and took effect upon publication in the Kansas Register on February 26, 2026. The act targets transgender Kansans across multiple unrelated domains of their lives. This sweeping law restricts transgender individuals from obtaining driver's licenses reflecting their gender identity and bans transgender people from accessing restrooms or other single-sex spaces in a range of public places, including libraries, courthouses, state parks, hospitals, and interstate rest stops. SB 244's restrictions extend beyond just government buildings, applying also to buildings owned by or leased from the government, even if they are controlled by private entities. By targeting transgender Kansans, the act violates the Kansas Constitution's guarantees of personal autonomy, privacy, equality under the law, due process, and free expression. It also violates the Kansas Constitution's single subject and clear title requirements. SB 244 is just the most recent law in a shameful litany of statutes enacted by the Kansas legislature meant to discriminate against and dehumanize transgender people. Plaintiffs are individuals who will be directly and immediately impacted by SB 244. Plaintiffs drive on public roads, work in public buildings, visit public spaces, and engage in public life. Plaintiffs, like other Kansans, use their driver's license to prove their identity and to travel freely. Plaintiffs, like other Kansans, also need to use restrooms when they are in public areas, public spaces. Plaintiffs, along with other transgender people around the state of Kansas, will immediately suffer harm under SB 244 because they will not be able to utilize a driver's license with their correct gender marker or access public restrooms that accord with their gender identity. SB 244 purports to immediately invalidate lawfully issued, unexpired, active driver's licenses, depriving plaintiffs and other transgender Kansans of their ability to operate vehicles or utilize their identification with no notice or opportunity to be heard. Going forward, plaintiffs and other transgender Kansans will be restricted to using driver's licenses that indicate their sex assigned at birth and not their gender identity as reflected in their everyday lives. Using such inaccurate driver's licenses will forcibly out plaintiffs as transgender to anyone that sees the incongruous gender marker on their identification. Or they'll refuse to identify the person, right? They'll say that it's not their license. I mean, I can see that happening as well. 244 purports to immediately prohibit plaintiffs and other transgender Kansans from using restrooms in government buildings that correspond to their gender identity. If they continue to use the restrooms that they have been using for years without incident, they will be breaking the law, can be fined or charged with a Class B misdemeanor, and can be sued by anyone who is, quote, aggrieved by their presence. By their presence. If they begin using the restrooms associated with their sex at birth, they will be forcibly outed as transgender, may be harassed and targeted for violence, and may still be sued by individuals who are aggrieved because they think they're in the wrong restroom. The Kansas Constitution prohibits the Kansas legislature's targeting of transgender individuals for this discriminatory and dehumanizing treatment. The Kansas Constitution's guarantee of equality under the law prohibits using sex and transgender status to deprive only certain Kansans from participation in public life. The Kansas Constitution's guarantee of due process prohibit immediate invalidation of driver's licenses and prospective penalties without a defined administrative process. The Kansas Constitution's protections for personal autonomy and prohibit the state from dictating how Kansans order their lives based on their gender. The Kansas Constitution's protections for privacy prohibit the state from forcibly outing transgender people against their will. The Kansas Constitution's protections for freedom of expression prohibit the state from forcing transgender Kansans to express the state's beliefs about sex and gender. And Article 2, Section 16 of the Kansas Constitution prohibits the log rolling and uniting of disparate subjects in a single bill that occurred to bring SB 244 into law. Plaintiffs seek declaratory and injunctive relief. So this is the jurisdiction. The plaintiffs. Daniel is a transgender man. His sex assigned to birth as female, but he has a male gender identity. He has legally changed his name and gender marker on his Kansas driver's license. Daniel works in government-owned buildings, frequents other buildings. He consistently uses the men's room. Then there's another plaintiff, another transgender man, sex assigned at birth was female, has a male gender identity, has legally changed his name, studies and works in government-owned buildings and frequents other public buildings. He consistently uses the men's restrooms in those buildings. Defendants, Chris Kobach is the attorney general. Okay, Let me see if I can. They're bringing in who the other parties are. This is just describing who people are. I'm going to link this in the document, so don't worry. Don't worry about it. Here we go. Relevant facts. A person's gender identity is their deeply felt internal sense of belonging to a particular gender. Okay, trans people don't change. They're not like, I think I'm going to be male or I think I'm going to be female. They know who they have figured out who they are, and they want to be in the world in that way. It's not like, oh, I think I'll put on a purple sweater today instead of a green sweater, like what? So anyway, and I'm not an expert, so I apologize. I don't want to speak on behalf of the trans community, but I just want to say that in my mind, it's not that they were female, became male. It's that they're male. That's it. And until we get to that point, I don't know where. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, every person has a gender identity. Transgender people have a gender identity that differs from the sex they were assigned at birth. For example, a transgender man is someone who is assigned a female sex at birth, but persistently, consistently, and insistently identifies as male. Cisgender people are individuals who have a gender identity that aligns with their birth assigned sex. Just as cisgender people cannot and are not expected to turn off their gender identities like a switch, so too are transgender people unable to turn off their gender identities. The medical consensus in the United States is that gender identity is innate, and the efforts to change a person's gender identity are harmful to their health and well-being and unethical. The incongruence between a person's gender identity and their birth-assigned sex can cause clinically significant distress or impairment of functioning known as gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is a serious medical condition. Being transgender is not in and of itself a medical condition to be cured. But untreated gender dysphoria can result in significant lifelong distress, clinically significant anxiety and depression, self-harming behaviors, substance misuse, and suicidality. The recognized standard for care for gender dysphoria is to eliminate the clinically significant distress a patient is experiencing by bringing their body and gender expression into alignment with their gender identity. An aspect of this treatment is social transition, which is the process through which transgender people live and become socially recognized in accordance with their gender identity. Social transition includes allowing transgender people to dress and use names, restrooms, and other sex-separated facilities consistent with their gender identity. In other words, to engage in public life in their gender identity. The ability to change the gender marker on an identity document to match one's gender identity has significant social, legal, and safety implications for transgender people. And as importantly, it is no one's business. How about that? How about that? Updating identity documents to reflect a transgender's person affirmed gender has substantial and well-documented health benefits for transgender individuals. Legal gender affirmation has been shown to be significantly associated with lower levels of depression, anxiety, somatization, overall psychiatric distress, and distress related to gender-based mistreatment. Obtaining accurate identification documents allows for increased identity integration, better mental health, and decreased vulnerability to harassment and violence. The inability to obtain or maintain identity documents that reflects one's gender identity has been shown to have detrimental effects on the health of transgender people, including because it exacerbates gender dysphoria and causes psychological harm. Forcing transgender people to use identity documents that are incongruous with their gender identity is inconsistent with medical protocols. It can cause distress to the transgender person, cause them to isolate from public life and educational or employment opportunities, and result in discrimination and violence against them when others learn that they are transgender. These harms are particularly acute for transgender people who currently possess accurate documentation and would be forced to disclose their transgender status to employers, colleagues, members of their community as a result of losing access to that documentation. Transgender people experience incredibly high levels of discrimination and violence, but being able to live in society in accordance with their gender identity is a critical determinant of health and well-being for people. Policies that require transgender people to use restrooms and hold identity documents consistent with their sex assigned at birth contribute to worsened mental health, in part because of harassment or ridicule, denial of service or access to facilities, or violence. Transgender people experience lower rates of harassment, discrimination, and violence when they're able to use identity documents reflecting their gender. Having a driver's license with the correct gender marker is associated with fewer negative mental health outcomes, but policies that prevent transgender people from updating the gender marker on their driver's license curtail access to services, employment, education, and social participation. I don't know who Natalie Wynn is. Having a driver's, but policies that prevent, transgender people without gender congruent identity documents are more likely to experience problems when interacting with security personnel. They also experience discrimination and poor treatment, specifically due to being forced to present identity documents that do not accurately reflect their gender identity. Restrictions on transgender people's restroom access negatively affects their mental and physical health. Transgender people who cannot use gender concordant restrooms suffer in unemployment, education, and healthcare. There is no scientific evidence that restricting transgender people's restroom use promotes public safety, because it doesn't, those aren't related. Oh my God. But multiple studies have shown that permitting transgender people to use restrooms consistent with their gender identity is not associated with increases in criminal incidents in restrooms. Right? Dow is down. Oopie boopie. Oh, Natalie is ContraPoints. Oh, okay. Is she I didn't know she was canceled. I don't really know. I don't know. Legal recognition of the appropriate gender identity has been significantly associated with less suicidal ideation. Fear, anxiety, and discrimination around being transgender can be amplified when a transgender person presents a driver's license that does not match their identity. A license that shows the wrong gender marker designation is a license that transgender people cannot use without sacrificing their health, privacy, dignity, autonomy, integrity, and safety. Having a valid driver's license is a necessity for most Kansans. Purchasing groceries, keeping a job, attending public events, visiting loved ones are just a small sample of life in Kansas that is difficult or impossible to access without driving. A driver's license is also the most common form of identity verification. Many people use a driver's license for identification when requesting government records, voting, starting a new job, applying for loans, qualifying for professional licenses, buying alcohol, picking up prescriptions, checking into a hotel, traveling by plane, and more. The importance of restroom access for transgender people. The ability to use the restroom that matches one's gender identity has significant social, legal, and safety implications for transgender people. When a transgender person is prohibited from using the restroom consistent with their gender identity, that exclusion is likely to cause significant mental and physical health problems. Transgender people are frequently subjected to harassment and violence in public restrooms and are more likely to experience mistreatment when using restrooms associated with their sex at birth. In the 2015 U.S. Transgender Survey, 9% of respondents reported they were denied access to a restroom in the previous year, and 12% had been harassed or assaulted when using a restroom over the same period. In addition, transgender people were significantly more likely to be denied access or to be harassed when using restrooms consistent with their sex assigned at birth, the very requirement that SB 244 puts in place. Being prohibited from using a gender congruent bathroom is strongly associated with an increased risk of depression, suicidal ideation, and suicide attempts for transgender people. In the 2015 U.S. Transgender Survey, 61% of transgender men and 47% of transgender women reported that others rarely or never perceive them as transgender. That means that other restroom users would likely assume many transgender people were in the wrong restroom if they used the restroom consistent with their sex assigned at birth, the requirement of this law. Requiring a transgender individual to use facilities inconsistent with their gender identity often results in forced disclosure of transgender status. This involuntary disclosure of status can exacerbate anxiety and gender dysphoria in transgender individuals. This disclosure can also increase the risk of discrimination, harassment, bullying, and physical victimization. Forcing transgender individuals to use gender incongruous restrooms can also have significant health consequences for the individuals. To avoid misgendering, harassment, or forced disclosure, many transgender individuals may restrict or avoid restrooms in public settings. Some individuals may limit fluid intake, which could increase the risk of dehydration and other complications. Others may delay using the restroom for prolonged periods, which can contribute to urinary tract infections, bladder dysfunction, kidney complications, constipation, gastrointestinal distress, and nutritional concerns. Let's see. Oh, here we got some information. We call her Natalie Loss now. She's had some really foul takes in the last couple of years. Oh, no. I used to watch ContraPoints. I haven't seen a lot lately, but I didn't realize that there was some blowback. I think of Mace trolling on bathrooms. She should have said hold the line for not using campaign funds because she's under an ethics investigation. Is she really? Oh my God, good for her. I'm so happy. Natalie isn't like Brianna Wu or worse, Blair White. She's more just out of touch, semi-defending the Gaza genocide and downplaying trans discrimination more recently. Oh, interesting. Well, that's something to watch then. Yeah. She does gaming videos sometimes. I've seen her come up on gaming. Well, there you go. Don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. Let's see. This is more about the individuals and how they're impacted by the law. And it's similar to the paragraphs we wrote. It's just more detail. Let me just make sure. This is SB 244 places Daniel in an untenable and dangerous position. If he continues to use the men's restrooms, as he has done safely and without issue for years, he risks fines or misdemeanor charges. If he instead uses the women's restrooms, he will be involuntarily outed as transgender and may face confrontation, complaints, or litigation from individuals who perceive him as a man in the woman's facility. Daniel is further concerned that his employer could face penalties if an individual claims to be aggrieved, potentially jeopardizing his professional standing and workplace relationships. All right, let's see if there's anything. This is the history of the bill. History on the bill, yeah. Let's see. Oh, this was the letter that was sent. Under the KDOR and the Division of Vehicles required to send letters. What does this mean for you? We did actually read this in another, let's see. Okay, claim for relief. Hereby reallege and incorporate by reference the prior paragraphs. The Act violates Section 18 of the Bill of Rights contained in the Kansas Constitution, which provides for all persons for injuries suffered in person, reputation, or property shall have remedy by due course of law and justice administered without delay. A statute violates due process if it fails to give a person of ordinary intelligence fair notice of what is prohibited. So that's one. The state must provide adequate notice reasonably calculated to inform affected persons of the action and a meaningful opportunity to present objections. She does have good production value, and she's pretty, smart. But, hey man, both things can be true. People can be really great and they can have really problematic takes on things sometimes. So that it makes, it just is what it is, right? I don't think she got over Abigail Thorne outshining her, considering they used to date. Oh, and Tom borrowed from Wynn's style. Both were already philosopher types. Interesting. So it's just a little drama, ha. Little drama, ha. Hi, Lee. Welcome home. Glad you're home safe from Texas. No, Texas. Okay, so that's that. We've done that. Second claim for relief. Okay. The act violates Section 1, which a Bill of Rights contained in the Kansas Constitution, which provides all men are possessed of equal and inalienable natural rights, among which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. The Kansas Supreme Court has recognized that Section 1 of the Kansas Bill of Rights encompasses a right of personal autonomy, which includes the ability to control one's own body, to assert bodily integrity, and to exercise self-determination. Well, if that's in your... Oh, the Supreme Court did it. It's not in your Constitution. Okay. By forcing a person to carry a license with a marker inconsistent with their gender identity, or forcing a person to use a single-sex restroom that does not match one's gender identity, SB 244 dictates how transgender people present themselves to the world, far from enjoying the right to shape their own identity, destiny, and place in the world. Third claim for relief. This is, okay, where Section 1 of the Kansas Bill of Rights also protects a right of informational privacy. And this is a quote, much like matters relating to marriage, procreation, contraception, family relationships, and child rearing, there are few areas which more closely intimate facts of a personal nature than one's transgender status. That's from a different case. SB 244 forces transgender individuals to disclose their status whenever they present a license for identification or need to use a restroom or other single-sex space in public buildings. Which one? The act violates Section 2 of the Bill of Rights contained in the Kansas Constitution, which provide in relevant part that, quote, all political power is inherent in the people and all free governments are founded on their authority and are instituted for their equal protection and benefit. Equal protection under the law. I feel like this is gonna win. You know what I mean? Like meowing. I feel like this suit that the ACLU is helping to bring against Kansas, I feel like it will win. Now, I don't know what that means for the people who currently today have no either inaccurate documents, right? Or have no documents because you were supposed to turn them in last week. How Nazi is this? Kansas is making people turn in their documents. They basically made the document ineffective on a day, February 26, giving no one a chance to actually address this or complain. And then all of a sudden on February 27th, your ID doesn't work. You have to go get a new ID. Literally. That's Nazis. That's just Nazis. Okay? That's a Nazi thing. So we'll be following this case. And I will share this document so that if you are a nerd like some of us, you will read it. Let's see. Hi, Tom, Neil, and Maui. It's been a crazy morning. Everyone wants their EPA refunds. Hey, yeah, Lee, are we getting $2,000 checks? Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let me see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? What is that? Okay. Let's see what we've got. I know what I have. Wait. Let's see. Okay, we've got some video. All right. Hey, have you seen the new Nuremberg photo? Because I updated it. I don't think I put the newest one out yet, but I did update it. I'm going to smoke some weed while you guys find your favorite people in this picture. Oh my God, why won't it? Oh, I know why. Oh no, I don't know why. Hold on. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let me give you the tour. Okay, let me give you the tour. Sorry, taxpayers got screwed coming and going. If you work for an importer, those money may filter down to you in your community. That's true. Skirmetti was a narrow and not a broad ruling, but indicates the court is likely to argue that since the law applies to cis and trans alike being required to have birth sex. I don't know, though. I mean, obviously, you're probably right. You are right, but I'm like, I guess I'm just hopeful. I don't know why I hope things are going to happen the way that they should. I have no idea. I read a post that on Blue Sky that contended if each refund request required 5 minutes to process, it would take 500 years to get through them. Well, I don't think it's quite that way. The refunds are going back to the importers. So I think the system is a little more automated than having to do each one, you know. I don't think they have 5 minutes to process. I don't think it takes that long. Yeah, get AI on it. Are you kidding me? We got Claude. Oh, wait, no, we don't. We have open AI, which I'm sure everything is just turning on a dime because this place is so great. Okay, let me lead you through Nuremberg 2.0 so far. Okay, first, me and Willie are over here just smoking and chatting and laughing. Okay, so we're just having a good old time over here. The boys decided to walk in, Elmo and Steve Bannon, and give a nice little Nazi salute because they thought that was so clever, right? Yeah. And and here's Jack Smith because they brought him back and put him in. They put him on. He's in the judge's seat because he's coming back to The Hague or wherever we're going to do this. I don't know. I think this is Nuremberg. This courtroom that I pulled is Nuremberg. Okay, and then we go over here. Oops, I guess you can't really see what I'm pointing at. Damn it. I wonder if I could. I can't really point at it. But anyway, you'll see, okay, Jack Smith is over on the far right hand of your screen. If you look counterclockwise, then you'll see that it is Caroline Levitt in some kind of hot seat. Not really sure. Then there's Jeffrey Epstein has made an appearance as Death, as the Grim Reaper. That's Jeffrey Epstein as the Grim Reaper. In the actual box right now is Jared, big-headed Jared. And then, actually, let me pull this up because I can't see it. I can't see it. Here we go. Okay, wait. Actually, this is a better thing. Hold on. I mean, that's all fine and good, but let's do this the right way. Am I right? Am I right? Oh, 9 viewers. Hey, whoa, that's great. Hi, Scott. How you doing? The graphic is so good, isn't it? Gosh, it's the least known show, the best least known show on the internet, Lolo's Lounge. Jesus fucking Christ. What do you have to do to get some fucking audience in this world? I don't get it. Okay, let me show you this. Now I can point people out to you. Hold on. Let me get them over here because you don't need everybody. Oops. Yeah, you don't need the top. You need to see the people. Oh, you are important, Sharon. No, you are important. You're so important. Oh, you're seeing 23? It says 9 on my thing. Well, thank you, 23 people. I love you very much. Thank you for coming. Yay, 23. Ads? What about ads? I don't do ads or thumbnails very well. I like my thumbnails just the way they are, all goofy and silly. But anyway, okay, thank you. Hi, 23. Neil, that's BS. Maybe if a hard copy protest was required, but it can be automated, not by AI. It is costing taxpayers $700 million in interest each month. The refunds are delayed. Probably someone just left, Max. I'm just kidding. Advertising my goofy silliness. I don't know. I feel like I promote the show as much as I can. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I am constantly trying. I mean, I probably don't do the best job because I think if it was more of a scripted show, maybe it'd be more popular. Because if it's just me turning up and going, hey, how you doing? What are we going to talk about today? Let me smoke some weed. You know, maybe if it was a more serious show. I still think if your face was bigger, it would promote you more. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. There. Hi, everybody. Maybe you don't want me to have that. I know. No. I'm sorry. It's just, it's just part of what you want to do as an entertainer too is to have an audience. And I have a beautiful audience. Please. I really love you guys. The whole goal is to get this information out and for people to take deeper dives into stuff, but I don't know. Whatever. Whatevs. The lounge is my secret squirrel team that I don't want ruined by the glory of fame. There you go, Clark. Like you will be 80% and the clips are small. I could do that. I just feel like, I don't know the word, but we could probably do something like that. I should smile more, probably. That would probably be. Okay, wait. Let me show you my creation. I'm so proud of this. Oh, shit. That's not the one. Okay, so you can see this is Caroline on the stand, on some stand. But then there's this guy. Jared's in the box. Here's Jeffrey Epstein as the whatchamacallit. You know, the shit. What's he called? Oops. There we go. Now we can see it a little better. Oh my God. Okay, anyway. Okay, and then there's Lindsey Graham. There's a lot of overflow. Okay, there's a lot of overflow. Yeah, he's the Grim Reaper. I don't know. I just thought I needed a place for him, but I had to put him somewhere. So I put him as a Grim Reaper. Because he's not really on trial because he's dead. The death of your career. Put it that way. He's metaphorically death. He's the death of all these political careers. This is not everybody, by the way. This is just the first version. Okay. Yay. Welcome back, Jane. Okay. It's afternoon, meaning I can indulge in afternoon delight. That's right. It's practically evening, Max. We don't want the lounge to turn into Yogi Berra's proverbial restaurant. Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. That's true. We don't want that. Where's that happy medium? I just want to get as much as the chuds, okay? Literally, Tommy Temper will turn on his thing, talk a bunch of fucking nonsense, and have 90 viewers. And I'm like, what? Not that I want those 90 viewers, because trust me, I don't want Tommy Temper's viewers. They're not welcome here, actually. We're going to need more. Lindy England's? What's Lindy England? I thought that was an SEX. Okay. Anyway, so here's Jared. Here's Lindsey Graham. Here's Coke Jr. Oh, man, you really can't see this, can you? I got to make this a lot bigger. Hold on. Hold on to your love. You got to hold. Okay, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. So you can see there's Lindsay, there's Coke Jr., there's Putin, there's Mike's Little Johnson, there's Clarence Thomas yucking it up. Not for long, bitch. And then Dumpy is in chair 1. Okay. Dumpy is in chair 1. Hegseth, Pig's Breath, is in chair 2. I put Vance in chair 3. These can change, you know. They're not all the same. Yeah, that's why he gets them. There are more dumb people in the world. That's true. That I know. Steve Witkoff, I put here in the front row. And then a sad, crispy gnome. She's pretty sad. Hold on. You can see she's pretty sad. She's got a sad face on. Yeah. And then in back, I threw in Roger Stone, Kash Patel, and Mike Flynn. All buddies. Big buddies. Big buddies. Less people is a compliment to my intelligence. There you go. That's how I'm going to spin it. And there is Turd Blanche. And there is Matt Gates, because I just threw him in for good measure. Okay. There's Sad Marco. He's got his hands folded on his lap. He's pretty sad. There's Melania, because she was part of the whole Epstein thing, and she's bad. Yeah, did you forget about Vance? You forgot Vance was around? Well, he'll remind you soon. Don't worry. Mullen's there. He hasn't done anything yet. Well, he has done things, but he hasn't done anything for Nuremberg. But he'll be there. Don't worry. There's plenty of space. Okay? There's plenty of space. And then we have Tulsi Toenail, Howard Nutlicker, and RFK for good measure because he's killing people with measles and other things. There's actually less acetaminophen being prescribed in in certain hospitals after the FDA or whoever it was put the warning on Tylenol. So that's great. I read that story the other day. And then, yeah, you have the boys down here making their big, like, oh, we're so mean. Look at us. Fuck you. We're going to send a big fuck you. And they're going to be doing that all the way to the gallows, God willing. And then again, me and Willie are just hanging over here smoking, having a laugh, doing our thing. Anyway, that is Nuremberg seating chart so far. Not complete, but so far. Don't worry, it's going to fill up and we're going to hardly have any room for anyone because I haven't even included people like Stephen Miller, Russ Vogt. I need to pull their heads, okay? I need to pull their heads, Haggard, and my hands get arthritis, and it took actually a lot of energy with my hand, believe it or not. I had to stop 2 times because my hand hurt so bad from cropping these little motherfucking heads. So let me complain for a minute. Art is painful. But I wouldn't change it for the world. Yeah. Wait, are we talking about strong weed? Wait, what? What about strong weed? Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I'm so proud of us. Okay, so that is Nuremberg. That's right. Nuremberg 2.0, Nuremberg. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to talk about was, how they all keep talking about, thank you, J. Rance. I would really appreciate that. Yeah, arthritis is fucking evil. U.S. overdose deaths fell through most of 2025, federal data reveals. I really wanted to... oh no, honey, I'm just sorry. No, I love you. Don't you worry. I'm just teasing you. This is from Stat. What the fuck is this? The Stat? I don't know what the Stat is. I'm sorry. It's a health thing. I'm not sure. It's some kind of health thing. But I wanted to read this because I wanted to talk about, Afternoon Delight. How strong is it? I missed the number. What's the THC or whatever? Abu Ghraib. We're going to need, Lindy England. What is that? Oh, the Abu Ghraib scape girl. What's that? I don't even know who that is. Okay. But I wanted to read about overdoses because this administration keeps claiming that everything is great and nobody's dying from overdose anymore. But what about those angel families? And nobody's dying from overdose anymore. Blah, 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 blah. Well, that may be true in some ways, but not in others. So here, I wanted to read this to you. The monthly death toll still not back to what it was before COVID pandemic. And this is from January 14th, 2026. So this is a January article. U.S. overdose deaths fell most of last year, suggesting a lasting improvement in an epidemic that had been worsening for decades. Federal data released in January showed that overdose deaths have been falling for more than 2 years, the longest drop in decades, but also that the decline was slowing. And the monthly death toll is still not back to what it was before the COVID-19 pandemic, let alone where it was before the current overdose epidemic struck decades ago, said Brandon Marshall, a Brown University researcher who studies overdose trends. Quote, overall, I think this continues to be encouraging, especially since we're seeing declines almost across the nation. Overdose deaths began steadily climbing in the 1990s with overdoses involving opioid painkillers, followed by waves of deaths from heroin and, more recently, illicit fentanyl. Deaths peaked nearly 110,000 in 2022, fell a little in 2023, and then plummeted 27% in 2024 to around 80,000. That was the largest one-year decline ever recorded. The new Centers for Disease Control and Prevention data runs through August 2025 and represents the first update of monthly provisional drug overdose deaths since the federal government shutdown. An estimated 73,000 people died from overdoses in the 12-month period that ended August 2025. So August 2024 to August 2025, an estimated 73,000 people died. That's down about 21% from the 92,000 in the previous 12-month period. CDC officials reported that deaths were down in all states except Arizona, Hawaii, Kansas, New Mexico, and North Dakota. But they noted it's likely that not all overdose deaths have been reported yet in every state, and additional data in the future might affect the state count. Researchers cannot yet say with confidence why deaths have gone down. Experts have offered multiple possible explanations: increased availability of the overdose reversing drug naloxone, expanded addiction treatment, shifts in how people use drugs, and the growing impact of billions of dollars in opioid lawsuit settlement money. Some also point to research that suggests the number of people likely to overdose has been shrinking as fewer teens take up drugs and many illicit drug users have died. Two other theories recently joined the list. In a paper published last week in the journal Science, University of Maryland researchers point to the drug supply. They say that regulatory changes in China a few years ago appear to have diminished the availability of precursor chemicals used to make fentanyl. Their argument is based partly on information from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, which last year reported that the purity, the dangerous potency of fentanyl rose early in the COVID-19 pandemic, but fell after 2022. It suggests it became harder to make fentanyl and its potency was diluted. One piece of evidence for that, more U.S.-based Reddit users reported a fentanyl drought in 2023. The authors connect that to signs that the Chinese government, at the urging of U.S. officials, took steps in 2023 to clamp down on the selling of substances used to make drugs. Information is limited on exactly what the Chinese government did, and the paper is a bit speculative, but, quote, "We thought we could make a case," said Peter Reuter, one of the authors. The recent declaration of deceleration of overdose deaths could be because of the producers in Canada and Mexico found alternative sources, Reuter and his colleagues think. Their paper drew inspiration from a team of University of Pittsburgh researchers who earlier concluded that regulatory changes in China concerning the drug carfentanil were an important explanation for a dip in U.S. overdose deaths in 2018. Did the pandemic stimulus payments play a role? Those same Pittsburgh researchers, Dr. Donald Burke and Dr. Hare Jalal, are now focused on another theory for what's happened to overdose deaths. In a paper published last week in the International Journal of Drug Policy, they say that overdose trends may be at least partly tied to federal stimulus checks sent out during the COVID-19 pandemic. The researchers tracked the 3 rounds of pandemic stimulus payments to U.S. households in 2020 and 2021 and saw surges in overdose deaths after each one. That money alleviated economic hardship for many families, but some of it also helped people pay for drugs, the Pittsburgh researchers say. At the end of those payments help explain why overdoses stabilized in 2022 and began falling afterward, they say. Both arguments seem to have merit, though they do not prove causation, said Dr. Daniel Ciccarone, a drug policy expert at the University of California, San Francisco. I personally think it's more complicated with those partial explanations layering on other trends, he said. The Maryland and Pittsburgh researchers raised tough questions about whether Trump administration policies could slow momentum. They noted relations between the U.S. and China strained last year when Trump placed sharply higher tariffs on imports from China and speculated China might ease efforts to police fentanyl precursors. They also noted Trump has promised a $2,000 check to, well, there he's not going to send that. Those checks could cause some drug users to splurge and overdose, said Burke, who urged federal officials to think through how the money is dispersed. So you notice that the interdiction of drug traffickers has not been risen as a causation of a decline in overdose deaths. Oops. Oopsie poopsie. Sorry. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Let's see, what do we got? What is it? Do I have access to this? Oh, this is, I can't do this. I don't understand that. Let me see what we got. Okay, I think I'm down to my videos now. Sweet. Okay, here we go. All right, I've got a few video clips I'd like to play for you. Just a minute. Where am I? Where am I? Bo do 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 do. Do 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 bid me adieu. Oh no no, in the Red River Valley, and the cowboy that loved you so true. Do not go by my side. Do 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 And the cowboy that loved you so true. This is a disturbing AP story that I picked up about 911 calls received from ICE's 911 calls from ICE's largest detention camp revealed detainees in distress. This was posted by the Associated Press 5 hours ago. I'll just read. The emergency calls from a Texas immigration detention center included repeated suicide attempts by detainees, seizures, injuries from fights, and a pregnant woman in pain. Data from more than 100 911 calls, interviews with detainees, and court filings offer a portrait of overcrowding, medical neglect, malnutrition, and emotional distress. So I wanted to play this. It's 3 minutes.
El Paso 911, operator Casas, what is the address to the emergency?
We're at Camp Montana East ICE Detention Facility. We currently have a detainee actively suicidal, attempting to hurt himself.
The Associated Press obtained 130 911 calls involving the nation's largest immigration detention facility, set up at Fort Bliss Army Base in Texas.
I have a patient here that's suicidal and homicidal.
This is a 27-year-old female. She's 12 weeks pregnant. She has extreme lower back pain and a headache. She's not eating. She's not drinking.
Along with interviews and court records, they offer a disturbing portrait of overcrowding, medical neglect, malnutrition, and emotional distress.
Every day felt like a week. Every week felt like a month. Every month felt like a year. You know, the torture, just, you know, the lack of sleep, the lack of food. Inhumane is my main word.
Owen Roman Ramsing spent nearly 5 months at Camp East Montana before he was deported to the Netherlands in February.
I lost everything. Everything.
They're getting substandard food. They're not getting the medical that they need. This place needs to be shut down, and it needs to be shut down immediately.
The Texas Democrat has called for an investigation into the contractors running the facility.
People should be moved by the abject cruelty, but if they're not, I hope they're moved by the fraud and corruption.
A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson said, quote, claims that there are subprime conditions at ICE facilities are false, adding that the detainees receive food, water, and medical treatment in a facility that is regularly cleaned. Ramsing was a legal permanent resident when he was detained last September, flying back into the country. Immigration authorities cited a drug conviction when he was 16, for which he had served prison time.
I had at least 60 notarized, what do you call those?
Character letters.
Character letters from very high-powered people, talking about, attorneys, doctors, police officers. I'm a big part of the community of Columbia, Missouri.
During his time at Camp East Montana, a Cuban man died in early January of asphyxia after he was restrained following what ICE said was a suicide attempt. Ramsing says he overheard a guard say that there was a $500 bet over whether the next suicide would occur by a certain date.
And then I turned around and said, what the f-? Like, basically, you're betting against me, basically, committing suicide? Every single one of us, with what we were dealing with inside there, it ran through all of our heads. That the suicide is real.
DHS called his account false and said the facility provides mental health treatment and tries to prevent suicide attempts. Meantime, Ramsing is living with his father in the Netherlands, separated from his wife and 3 children, figuring out where and how to rebuild his life.
Oops, hold on. Oops, wait. I didn't want to do that. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, so I wanted to play that. That's about the Camp East Montana that we read about. It's in Texas. We read about that last week. And these detention centers have to shut down. Like, I don't know what Mark Wayne Mullen. Mark Wayne Mullen, stole a plane and flew over like MacGruber, put celery in his ass, flew over like MacGruber to Afghanistan, and then I think had to be rescued. I don't sure. At least he was missing for like a day or so. So that idiot has zero judgment. He's a plumber, as Max. Thank you for finding that, Max. I didn't know that. Mark Wayne Mullen was a plumber, which is great. I mean, plumbers actually I admire because that's a lot of work. However, that doesn't mean that you should run the Department of Homeland Security. Sorry, that doesn't qualify. I'm not qualified to run the Department of Homeland Security, probably because I'd shut it down. I don't know. Okay, I have more for you. I have more for you. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to play this. I found this morning. It's just 5 minutes. How do you get an honorary? Well,
it's Friday, March 6th. Do you know where your golden age is? Hi, Paul Krugman here. It is Friday, March 6th. It's 17 days since the State of the Union address, in which Donald Trump basically tried to allay concerns about affordability and all of that by insisting that everything is great. Talked about a golden age, about fantastic job growth like nothing you've ever seen, boasted about low gasoline prices, which he said were below $2.30 a gallon in most states. None of that was true. I don't think there was a single actually true number in the speech, but the general position was, things are doing great. Doesn't look that way this morning. Number that got everybody in my alley's attention was the jobs report, which said that the U.S. actually lost 92,000 jobs in February. Now, that's a very noisy number. I don't actually believe that. I don't believe that the U.S. economy gained 126,000 in January and then lost 92,000 in February. Probably, taking all of the various numbers together, the real story is that employment growth has more or less flatlined. That's basically since Trump took office, definitely since Liberation Day in April. That is not having as much consequence in terms of rising unemployment as it might, because we've also shut off the supply of labor through immigration, through basically pogroms against immigrants. But it's not great. It's certainly not this wonderful booming economy that Trump wants us to believe we have. The other thing that is really noticeable, and that has been happening over the past week since we started bombing Iran, is what's happening to oil prices and gasoline prices. Oil, last I looked, a little while before recording this, the price of Brent crude, which is kind of the global standard, and usually a few dollars more than the price of West Texas Intermediate, just cracked $90 a barrel. That's a significant rise. What is really striking to me, and it's happening faster than I thought it would, is prices at the pump. So back 17 days ago, when Trump was boasting about low gas prices, the national average was actually $2.98 a gallon. It's now, or as of yesterday, it was $3.32 a gallon. So that's a pretty big increase. It's still a bit short of what you expect, what we would expect to eventually happen, given what's happening to crude prices. But there's probably, I'd about to say, more in the pipeline. I guess that's kind of literally true, although it's more still in the oil tankers that are stuck on the wrong side of the Strait of Hormuz. But in any case, that's a pretty major hit. Gas prices are not anywhere near their high point during the supply chain crisis after the economy recovered from COVID. They're certainly not anywhere near in real terms where they were in the worst of the oil crises of past decades, but they are up. And thing about that, it was really normally it's a really bad idea for presidents to boast about gasoline prices because they have very little impact on gasoline prices ordinarily. There's not much a president can do to bring gasoline prices down. Ordinarily, there's not much he can do to push them up either. It's the high gas prices of 5 years ago were not something that Joe Biden did. They were a world economy recovering without sufficient logistics capacity to deal with the sudden increase in demand. So ordinarily, presidents can't do much in either direction. However, one way to drive gasoline prices up is to start a war that leads to closing the Strait of Hormuz and basically lopping off 20% of the world's oil supply, which is what has just happened. I don't, presumably Trump was at least contemplating a war on Iran when he gave the State of the Union address. So why there wasn't
TV2,
some
thank you.
forethought?
Are you going live
what
today?
What is this war going to do to gasoline prices?
Are you going to go live today? Do you have any programming notes you'd like to share with the class, TV2? You covered the FedNet. Aw, you guys are so kind. I love you. Tonight, likely? Got you. All right.
I don't know, except that they really, as far as we can tell, they're in denial. I just saw some interview footage in which Trump said, was told gas prices are up a lot, and he said, no, they aren't. So maybe it's just not a denial in advance, and maybe even denial right now. But anyway, it's this whole attempt to convince people that things are great is developing not necessarily to Trump's advantage. Enough for today.
I love Paul Krugman. He's such a grumpy old man, but he's a great economist. He's a very smart person. Let's see. Let's see. No, that's boring. Let's see. I really wanted to find some of the parts of Senator Whitehouse, but it's 48 minutes and I don't really want to play that. Do I though? Let's play a little bit of it.
Was the spring of 2019. Public and media interest in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report into Russia's election interference operation reached a fever pitch. There had been a steady drip, drip, drip of reporting on the Trump team's cozy and peculiar relationship with Russia since his surprise election victory in 2016.
I'll be right back.
Ahead of the Mueller report's release, Trump's Attorney General, Bill Barr, issued a letter to Congress purporting to summarize the report's findings. The letter declared that Russia and the Trump campaign did not collude to steal the election. The press, ravenous for any news of the long-anticipated Mueller report's conclusion, largely accepted Attorney General Barr's narrow, carefully worded conclusion. And not yet having access to the full report, blasted the Attorney General's summary around the world. Trump himself declared, all caps, no collusion. He said he had been cleared of the Russia hoax, a term he reserves only to describe things that are true, like climate change. Frustrated, Mueller wrote to Barr that the Attorney General's letter did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of the investigation. But by the time the dense, voluminous Mueller report was issued, the month after Barr's letter, its message had been obscured. The Mueller report actually concluded that the Trump campaign knew of and welcomed Russian interference and expected to benefit from it. That conclusion was later echoed and reinforced by an investigation led by then Chairman Marco Rubio's Senate Intelligence Committee, a bipartisan report. But Barr's scheme had largely worked. Many in the media and in the Democratic Party seemed to internalize that the Russia speculation had perhaps gotten out of hand and that perhaps we had been wrong to believe there was a troubling connection between Trump and Russia after all. But were we? Let's take a look at a sampling of what Trump has done for Russia just lately, and usually at the expense of American interests. There are many, but here's a top 10. 1. After Trump and Vice President Vance theatrically chastised the heroic Ukrainian President Zelensky in front of TV cameras in the Oval Office last year, Trump paused our weapons shipments to Ukraine. 2. In July, during the worst Russian bombing campaign of the war until that point, Trump paused an already funded weapons shipment for Ukraine, including the Patriot interceptors that protect civilians from Putin's savage attacks. 3. That same month, Trump's Treasury Department stopped imposing
I didn't hear the whole
new
speech.
sanctions
That's why I'm watching it.
and closing sanctions loopholes.
You guys probably
effectively
watched this
allowing
already.
Dummy corporations to send funds, chips, and military equipment to Russia. Leaked phone calls show that White House envoy Steve Witkoff and Putin envoy Kirill Dmitriev have worked together closely behind the scenes on a peace deal favorable to Russia. 5. Last summer, Trump rolled out the presidential red carpet for the Russian dictator on American soil, with a summit in Alaska that yielded, unsurprisingly,
I don't think so.
no gains.
You did?
toward
Okay. I won't
ending
make you watch the
war
whole
in
thing.
Ukraine.
I just want to hear a little bit of it.
6. Trump's vice president traveled to the Munich Security Conference last year to parrot
Yes.
Russia's anti-Western
So windy,
talking
Oren.
points
Palm trees everywhere.
right-wing groups that Putin has long funded and
through
used
Sunday?
to create political strife in Europe. 7. Trump installed Russia apologist Tulsi Gabbard as his director of national intelligence, much to the glee of Russian state media. 8.
They can.
Upon the
Yeah, they
confirmation
can.
of
They're
Trump's
dangerous.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, the Department of Justice
They're
shuttered
huge. They're like big
its
logs.
anti-kleptocracy work that had successfully targeted Putin's Russian
Is it just a cold front?
9. Late last year, Trump unveiled a new so-called national security strategy which abandoned traditional alliances in Europe and favored a transactional foreign policy that the Kremlin praised as, quote, largely consistent with Moscow's vision and desires. And 10, the Trump administration is even paving the way for Russia's return to global sports competition, ending its isolation in those arenas in the wake of the hostile Ukraine invasion and state-backed systemic doping programs in Russia. That's a top 10, but the list goes on. If Trump were purposefully doing Russia's bidding, it is hard to see what he would be doing differently. The United States is the most powerful nation in the world. Russia is a weak, corrupt regime. My old friend Senator John McCain used to say that Russia is a gas station run by gangsters with an army. It doesn't make sense that the President of the United States, who insists on being dominant in essentially every relationship, is so submissive to one person. And that one person is Russia's dictator, Vladimir Putin.
Okay.
So what is it?
We're going to end there because I know most of you have already watched this. I just wanted to hear a little bit of what he was talking about in terms of Russia, Epstein, because he'll get into that Epstein was also in contact with Kirill Dmitriev and then the other people. So it's a big problem. Yeah, the important thing is it's on the permanent record. See, this actually is important, and it doesn't feel very important in the moment because you're like, well, this isn't going to do anything. But how many times do we look back at what Congress said on certain topics when it comes to SCOTUS interpreting laws and other things? So actually the record in Congress is hugely important, and is not a waste of time or not, it's just, it actually is something that's really important. Yeah, he's very good. I like him a lot. But I wanted to switch gears. I am going to stay with you for a little bit. Don't leave me because I got a few more things I'd like to share with you. Hold on. Let me find out where my fucking thing is. Yomp, yomp. No. The New York Times. The headline right now is Trump demands... Oh, okay. Sorry. I don't know why I did that. Trump demands Iran's unconditional surrender. This is Beirut. This is just you're walking around, you're doing your thing, and fucking Israel drops a fucking bomb on you. Let's see. We've seen that. Okay, there was actually one. Where's my? I don't know how did they do this? Because I saved a bunch of stories yesterday, and now I want to know where I saved them to. I don't really get that. How does this work? How does this work, New York Times? Oh wait, is it up here? Where is it? What? Wait, where is it? Where's my Times? My Times. Where's my Times? Where's mine? Wow, I guess you clip things and then you never get to see them again. I didn't know that. What? Okay, I can't find it. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Well, anyways, I did have a bunch of things for you, but now I can't seem to find them. Let me see. Doodly-doo, 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 doodly-doo. Wait. Pardon industry. Yep. Ultra MAGA. Darn it. Boy, they don't. Oh. I feel betrayed. I feel betrayed. All right, let me. Is it at the? Oh God, that guy is such a fucking asshole. Why does anybody listen to him? He's an idiot. Where is? Na, 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 na. Wow, you really just can't get your own shit. Okay. Dang it. Here I was so excited about it. I was so excited. I had all these little stories all freaking bookmarked and stuff. This is why you should just bookmark your own stuff. Okay, fuck it. Zag nabbit. Okay, well, fine. We'll go ahead and just fucking read something then. Oh, that's an analysis. I don't really want someone's opinion right now. Do. Weak jobs data underscores Fed's dilemma as war stokes inflation risk. The Federal Reserve is still widely expected to hold interest rates steady when its officials meet on March 17th to 18th. New data on Friday showing a sharp decline in monthly jobs growth has put the Federal Reserve in a tough position as it simultaneously grapples with heightened concerns about inflation amid the widening World War III that we started. For crying out loud. Jesus. Isn't it maddening? Isn't it maddening? Yeah, they're being shelled so much, TV2. So fucking much. Yeah. February's jobs report showed employers shedding 92,000 positions for the month as the unemployment rate ticked slightly up to 4.4%. It was 4.3 before. In another warning side, December and January jobs growth was revised down by 69,000. Data comes just before a scheduled communications blackout ahead of the Fed's next policy meeting on March 17th. Officials are still widely expected to hold rates steady at a range of 3.5% to 3.75%, extending a pause that began in January. But according to federal funds futures markets, some investors have begun to pull forward their expectations about the timing of the next cut from July to September. In an interview on Friday, Austin Goolsbee, what a great name, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, described February's report as a tough one, although he cautioned against reading too much into 1 month's data. See, that's what they all say, and then we're fucked. Okay? That's what, you say that, and then all of a sudden there's mass layoffs. Although he cautioned he stressed that bad weather and strikes likely weighed on hiring and pointed out that at 4.4%, the unemployment rate is right around the same level as this time last year. Well, that's actually not very encouraging, but okay. If you start to see that number rising the way it does traditionally at the beginning of a recession, that would be a bad sign, he conceded. That concern was echoed by Mary Daly, president of the San Francisco Fed, who told CNBC on Friday that the labor market remained vulnerable. The hopes that the labor market was steady, and maybe that was too much, and we really have to keep our eye on the labor market, Ms. Daly said. Officials at the Fed are chiefly concerned about the combination of a weakening labor market and elevated inflation, which would pit the Fed's goals against each other. That worry first arose when President Trump unleashed a barrage of tariffs against the country's trading partners soon after returning to the White House last year. Officials braced for higher inflation and slower growth as a result, which panned out, but not as badly as initially feared. If the job market is getting worse and inflation is getting worse at the same time, it's not obvious to me what the immediate response should be. Well, you're the fucking Fed governor. What the fuck? Oh boy. He said the Fed would likely not react to the Middle East conflict and the recent surge in energy prices if the supply shock ended up being temporary and the war short-lived. But a longer-lived conflict could prove problematic. Is that what we call it now? Problematic? He said, especially given that inflation had been above the Fed's 2% target for roughly 5 years. The longer you're at 3% or above on inflation, the more dangerous it is. Before policymakers meet next month, they will have in hand 2 new inflation reports, February's Consumer Price Index report to be released next Wednesday, and next Friday, the Fed's preferred gauge, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index for January. Job openings data for January will also be released that day. Until this point, officials have broadly argued that they don't need to be in a rush to lower rates again after delivering 3/4 points cuts between September and December. Those moves brought rates down to the upper range of what most officials consider to be a neutral setting that neither speeds up nor slows down growth. One outlier has been Stephen Moran, who Mr. Trump appointed to a temporary term as governor last year. Can I tell you about Stephen Moran, the architect of the Mar-a-Lago Accord? My favorite thing. Our trade policy, everything that's happening now with tariffs, all of that, our national security, extortion of critical minerals and other resources from other countries was authored in November 2024 by none other than Stephen Moran, who was appointed as the chief of the Economic Council of Advisors, the chief economic advisor in the presidential economic advisors thing. And then when there was an opening on the Fed, Dump transferred him from that job to the Fed. So that is Stephen Moran. He's actually why we can't have nice things. Literally, he's the one. Okay? Nobody ever says it. Nobody ever talks about the Mar-a-Lago Accord. But basically, this entire extortion plan for the planet was laid out in that document. And damn if he didn't do it. So here he is, the outlier, Stephen Moran, who Dump appointed to a temporary term as governor last year. He has repeatedly argued for much more aggressive cuts because he needs to cut rates for his boss, because they need cheap money to borrow so that they can bail on it. That's what Trump does, by the way. He borrows money and then he declares bankruptcy. Why do you think this country is going to be any different? For fuck's sake. He has repeatedly argued for much more aggressive cuts, a call he revived on Friday after the jobs report. In an interview with CNBC, Mr. Moran said the labor market could use the Fed's support, noting that younger workers are feeling the brunt of the pain. That's because they're not having any jobs. Mr. Moran warned his colleagues about being overly concerned about elevated inflation, which he doesn't see as a risk, and he doesn't give a shit if the prices are paid, because that was the goal of the tariffs, is to transfer the cost of the revenue for this country to the fucking consumers. Okay? Because the importers are the ones who pay the tariffs. And then they raise their prices to make back the money, increased money they had to pay for the tariff, which we instituted. So we instituted a tariff on ourselves, right? And what have we gotten for it? Double the price of coffee, which wasn't even tariffed. God, I just feel so stupid, like continuing to scream this into the void. Fuck. Not that anybody can do anything about it. I'm not saying they can do anything about it, but my God. Jesus. While most policymakers have signaled that the next move for the Fed is likely to be another rate cut, a cohort of officials have indicated that they do not want to rule out the possibility of rate increases in light of concerns about inflation. Oh, that'll make him really happy. Get ready for catch-up on that one. Because he's losing his tariffs because, again, I'm just going to remind you that the big ugly bill made it possible for corporations to write off and expense all of their expansion or any growth that they're doing in 2026 and write it off in that year, when they used to have to spread it over 10 years. Now they can do it in 1 year. What do you think when corporations are able to get refunds basically on their expenses at 100% of expenses? 100% they can expense off their taxes. What do you think that does to the revenue stream that we get in? It creates a huge gap, right? Less money into the government, or more money out of the government in the terms of refunds for corporations, right? Where do you think then that happens? That's why tariffs are so fucking important. That's why he's so mad about tariffs, because the scheme was to transfer the responsibility for the revenue that this country uses to us through the tariffs and take the burden, any burden that existed, off of corporations. It is literally one of, and economists have talked about this. It is literally one of the biggest wealth gap growers that we've ever experienced. If you want to talk about middle class, first of all, there probably isn't a middle class anymore, and there isn't going to be by the time this fucking regime is done, because they're taking away all your consumer protections. They're not regulating crypto industries. They're trying to introduce crypto into our system of payments and other things. They're giving access to the Trump boys to be part of the Fed as they have a banking application out. What? They're like raping the government, and we're just sitting there going, yeah, but decorum. God, man. I know Lee has to live this. You said that last night. Excellent. There's no middle class, and it's going to get a fuck ton worse. It is going to get a fuck ton worse. Let me see if there's anything else like screaming at me. And it's really sick that the economy is something that we would have to worry about when people's rights are being violated and they're being completely killed and renditioned and all kinds of shit, I don't know. Alyssa Liu, she was great. I really enjoyed watching her skate. Okay. Well, we're going to stop there. I think that's enough. I put you through 3.5 hours of hell. Yeah. Living hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck is not middle class. Okay. And that is what the majority of people in this country who aren't millionaires do. They live paycheck to paycheck. And so that is unacceptable. Like it's just unacceptable. And this government is not going to make it easier to do it. And the invention of AI and the introduction of that into the manufacturing space and other spaces, frankly, service industries and others, is eventually going to catch up with the amount of people that are needed to fulfill those call center jobs or other things. So that's just going to be the way that it goes. Okay. So, but AI will probably create like upper level jobs and certainly some engineering jobs, I would imagine. But we also had some big engineering pushes in the last 10 years. So I don't know. It's not fun. I would rather be fighting to end the genocide in Palestine and have that be our major focus than have to fight so that people in Kansas can have their duly needed dignity, that they can live as humans and just regular people that live their lives and do their things. But we have to fight all of those things now. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. You exhaust me, world. So Blackstone's $82 billion fund saw record withdrawal requests the same week. Blackstone had to put in $400 million of its own cash. Ooh, I didn't read that, Michael. You know what I did read, though? Let me show you what I did read. Hold on. I'll show you this before we go. Where is it? Where is it? Wo ist das? Wo ist das? Where is it? Oh my God, the birds are absolutely beautiful today. I love it. All right, let me show you this. Oh, this is fun. Let me show you this. I have no idea what this means, however, so don't come for me. But let me show you what this is. Because I was looking at Peter Thiel the other night, and I was like, is Peter Thiel doing any stock trades right now? That's what I wondered to myself. I said, self, Is Peter Thiel doing any stock trades right now? And lo and behold, he sure was. It just was a coinky dink. I think I pulled this 2 days ago, actually. So this is what's called an insider trading, Sec Form 4. So this is an insider trading and ownership report. These are publicly available, right? And and everybody who is an insider in a corporation, whether a shareholder, like an employee shareholder, a board of directors, all that kind of stuff, they have to file when they're going to sell stock. They can't just sell stock, right? You have to file that you're going to sell a certain number of shares and all that kind of stuff, right? That's your insider trading. When you're an insider, you can only trade under certain circumstances, right? So you have to report it to the SEC. And this is the form you use. Boom. Okay, so these are to trades, common stock purchase or sale. And what he did was on, he's done more, I guess. Oh, no, this was updated. So these are 2026. On 3/2/2026, he sold Palantir Technologies, his shares. He sold 2 million shares. He has 68, almost 69 million shares, right? That's his holdings. He sold 2 million on 3/2 when the war started. I thought that was interesting. Now, sometimes they're just doing like taking some grabs and, bad market. Like he probably was maybe closing out some sales where he had stock options to buy them at a certain price. And when they hit another price, he could sell certain shares. So not totally surprising, but boy, this is always good to look at when we have major events happening to see who's trading what and when. So anyway, so there we go. There we go. There we go. And this is the filing. Let me see this. This is the statement of changes in beneficial ownership. So this is, see, these are all, okay, Class A common stock. Oh, these are all the 2 million. These are the lots of shares that he sold to make up the 2 million shares. So that's what this is. So I don't know. I find that shit interesting. I like to kind of keep an eye on it. I'd probably look into it more just to kind of get an idea of marking all the events around that, that kind of thing. TV2, thank you. Thank you. I think it's a great, and everybody take a look at what TV2_live is his YouTube channel. He's a great friend of the channel here. And does a lot of going live during the day and at night. So if you have a chance, please go over and subscribe to TV2. He's helped us out a few times with broadcasts, and I'm really, really grateful for that collaboration. I think it's great. And also tonight, possibly meeting him next week in Washington. Ooh. He probably is scared about the Epstein stuff. He's pretty much in that. He's in that to win it. But tonight, oh, I'm going to tell you tonight is trivia. That's right. It's trivia night, God damn it. It's Friday fucking night. And we're going to play some trivia tonight. I hope you're ready. Oh, Stephanie, I'm so glad. That's so sweet. I'm so glad. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad. It's really nice. So I will see you tonight at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Everything inside and outside of that after the 5/8 and the beautiful Greg Oliar and Stephanie LB, Lincoln's Bible, Stephanie Koff, and we will be watching that and then come over here for some less intelligent but equally entertaining conversation while we play a really fucked up game of trivia that has no rules. That's right. So please do join us for Spaced Out Trivia tonight at Lolo's Lounge. It's very chill and very fun, and this group is fucking hilarious, frankly. So it's a great way to end your week with a group of really, really nice people who want to laugh really hard. So Anyway, hit the like. Yeah, hype the points. Whoop, whoop. Yay for Friday trivia. Much better than watching Beat Bobby Flay. Yeah, we're better than watching Beat Bobby Flay. Hell yeah. I love the thumbs up, Stephanie. Thank you so much. All right, I'm out. Have a great day. I hope I see you tonight. If I don't, I understand. Tomorrow night, we're going to watch movies in Discord. I'm not sure which one. So make sure you throw your ideas for movies in the Discord channel. And then I'll pick them up. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. I really appreciate you guys stopping in this morning. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye.